Check, check. Check, check. Live, live, live. All right. Was hanging at the house today and I saw this little kid called the Universe Galaxy get online, so I thought I was going to call in to stream snipe him or call in to talk to him. And of course he got scared. He didn't bring me on, the usual shit, and he makes excuses. So I thought I would just stream snipe him for a little bit. So I just called in.
For some odd reason is calling in. NNB Sports, you are not welcome to my platinum, golden, silver, bronze page. You're wasting your time. Nobody's gonna learn about your page.
See how scared? Like, all I did was pop into the chat on StreamYard, and this is his immediate, like, emotional reaction.
Your shit, garbage, boring, stupid page on my page. The only reason anybody went to your page is probably because either they got your page from my page because you let them know about it, and or maybe just they were trying to find my page and they found your.
So the reason why my page is anything right now is because of my Dirk video, which has absolutely nothing to do with him, and essentially 99.
Anyone that you're right on anything that you disagree on, you lie a lot. And some of the point, and you even
never lied. Nothing I said was wrong about Jordan or anything. And if you notice, you can't bring up a single point in terms of this would be a great opportunity, right, to elaborate on why you think what I lied about or what I was wrong about. But of course, it's just slander.
Of course, you contradict yourself. You move.
Don't contradict myself.
You make, you cherry pick things.
Don't cherry pick.
Find some way to get people to bring attention. That's all it is. You're trying to get some way to bring attention.
See, the Universe Galaxy, he's allowed to bring attention to his channel. He's allowed to make videos to get views and get money. But if you do it, well, then I guess it's a problem.
Attention to your garbage, shitty, pointless, boring page. I gave you plenty of chances, motherfucker, to come on my page and do some stuff. But you fucked it up. You lost all your LA privileges. You're not welcome here, asshole. There's nothing you can do to come back on my
LA, why the fuck would I want privileges to go to LA? Who the fuck cares? People are leaving that place in droves.
My page, unless I take that back. If you apologize,
never apologizing,
admit you were wrong, and explain to me what a moron you were, and you delete all the videos you made about me and all that, then maybe I'll bring you back.
See, admits he's seen my videos
back on. But in the meantime, you ain't welcome here. You're just wasting your time, asshole. And don't feel happy. I don't go to your page and play any of your videos. Somebody told me that somebody wrote on one of it.
Hey, I've seen your videos, but also don't think that I've seen any of your videos.
Shit videos, and he thought that person was me or something. I don't know, whatever, some bullshit. I don't know.
He has tons of puppet accounts that he uses. There's almost no denying that.
This motherfucker really thinks that I go to his page and play his fucking shit videos.
You just admitted you do.
He's not the first one. You know, a lot of Michael Jordan fans, what they do is they want to bring attention to their shit page, right? So what they do is they start drama with me.
I could say the same thing about him. All he does is talk about how MJ isn't the GOAT, which obviously is a much more polarizing stance than saying that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I mean, he's obviously doing clickbait shit for views too.
And they lie to people about me, mislead people about me, make things up to people about me and all that, right? They want attention to their garbage page. And then they not only think that it's going to work, which it doesn't, but then when they realize it doesn't work, they still keep trying.
It seems like I'm living in his head rent-free right now, so it's got to be working a little bit.
When they what I mean is when they realize they're not getting that many clicks and subscribers and they're not getting that popular and all that, they still keep trying. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do they think? Do they think people want to go to a fucking boring, shitty,
My videos are 100 times better than his. They actually take some effort, some editing, some thought, a little bit of idea beforehand. All he does on his channel is he just clips out interviews and then gives some spiel at the end to give him money or to sign up for a membership, which is essentially what he's accusing me of doing, which is pretty funny.
Informative, non-entertaining page. And then when they realize it's not happening that much, like when people are not going there and subscribing, paying money and all that, why do they keep making these shit videos?
I make videos and with me and my friends because we like to. That's all we need. We don't need to justify it to anyone else. I can make videos all day. I don't really care. I'm not here to make money or anything. I'm here because I like making videos.
These boring, garbage, pointless videos. And then they actually believe that I fucking go to their pages. And then...
Well, you did admit that you've seen my videos, so...
They actually believe that I stay on their pages. And then they actually believe I play all their videos. And then they actually believe that I actually like, I don't like I'm interested in their pages. You know what I mean? Fucking pointless fucking losers, man.
He
Seriously.
gets so mad, dude. He's so feminine. Like he gets so emotional and angry over all
LeBron James fans, right?
that entire rant just because I popped into the StreamYard backstage for literally 5 seconds. He saw me, he said he wasn't going to talk to me, so I left, and then he rambled for 5 minutes.
It's I point all the blame on Jordan for losing. Oh, Galaxy treat Jordan like a baby. We already read that. I already read that. Oh yeah. Nothing negative. LeBron James fans, right? They don't blame him for nothing. But when it comes to KD or LeBron or Shaq or Kobe, they get blamed. That's right, LeBron James fan. And we have a member here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a member. We have a member. We have
I'm
a
kind of
member.
behind, so let's catch up.
And Kendrick B Squad. Thank you. Thank you coming in. B Squad. Kendrick's Emperor writes, which YouTuber? Why fucking writes Jordan?
Oh yeah.
Boring shit page. I don't even want to plug his shit. If you can't go on now, we can set it up. We can set it up if you can't come on today. You can go on right. It was LeBron James. LeBron, right? I did bring up his name a little while ago, but I don't want to plug it again.
He's literally plugging me while trying not to plug me.
Jama writes, all of Jordan's endorsements and everyone's obsessed. Which YouTuber are you talking about?
Yeah, there we go.
Jordan
in the chat.
LeBron James.
In the chat while he was doing this, everyone was wondering who they were talking about. Obviously, I can't type in the chat because he has me banned because he's scared. But
Emperor writes, which YouTuber are you talking about? This is some boring shit page. I don't even want to plug his shit page. You know what I mean?
By the way, my Dirk video has more views than like his 50 videos on one of his pages.
LeBron, right? I did bring up his name a little while ago, but I don't want to plug it again. LeBron writes, why would you want to be Jordan? Jama writes, all of Jordan's endorsements and everyone's obsessed much loser. Yeah, that's why your motherfucking ass comes to my page, so you're obsessed with me by your logic. Don't you have a fucking king that you have to go fucking serve? In England? LeBron writes, Jordan, the most boring NBA player I've seen. Okay. So to be just about Michael Jordan and fans. Another one is
speed it up.
Is going out with Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. And yeah, people are voting on that. Can you believe that? Michael Jordan's son might be going out with Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Man, seriously, Let's see here.
This is the same guy who saw no issue with Karl Malone doing what he did back in the day, if you want to look that up. The same guy who says he has no problems with what Karl Malone did when he was 20 is now saying that two consenting adults having a relationship, I guess now, is some kind of reflection on Jordan and his son. It's pretty interesting.
Here, LeBron writes, if Jordan played on Bulls today, he may be coming off the bench for Zach LaVine. And we have another member here, Charles Smith. Hey, eating some vegan rice much easier to make to me. We have another member here, Charles
Listen
Smith.
To
we
this.
Have another member. We have another member. We have another and we have another member. LeBron writes, man, seriously,
Listen to this.
Let's see here. LeBron writes, if Jordan played on Bulls today, he may be coming off the bench for Zach LaVine. And
Jordan would come off the bench for Zach LaVine. I mean, this is like the absolute just out of left field takes that this channel has. But if you said Jordan's top 30 or top 40 or whatever, he would lose his mind.
And we have another member here, Charles Smith. We have another member. Eating some vegan rice much easier to make. Is there a difference between regular rice and vegan rice? Down to this fucking industry that does fucking horrible things to animals. Remember, folks, so fucking nasty shit. Well, the room was getting bigger, but now it's getting. Please, some Michael Jordan fan will call in. When I say Michael Jordan fan, I'm talking.
Let's listen to that.
All right. Well, the room was getting bigger, but now it's getting.
The room was getting bigger, now it's getting smaller because you're fucking boring, dude. Like, all you do is just throw out provocative takes to try and get clicks and views. And that's really it. Like, you don't really have any basketball knowledge. Like, you don't make any videos about, basketball players or your ideas or stats, comparisons, etc. You just clip out articles. I gave you my number so that I could come on and debate you on your podcast, and you fucking ran away.
Being smaller again. That's too bad. Anyway.
I have a shit page, but yet he can't even get. I don't know if you guys can see this. Here, let me show you right now. This is live right now. I want you guys to look at the viewers he's got. 7 people. Those who throw stones should not live in glass houses. He wants to talk about how popular my page is, and he can't even get double-digit viewers most of the time.
Well, we'll wait it out. Hopefully some Michael Jordan fan will call in. When I say Michael Jordan fan, I'm talking about one that's welcome to call in, not one that's not welcome. There's certain Michael Jordan.
See, this is also what he does, because like he's debated me before, and he knows I'll give him the runaround, and I'll corner him, and I'll run circles around him. That's what I should have said. And so he won't engage with me anymore because he knows I'm just going to embarrass him in front of all of his 7 people watching.
Jordan fans were no longer welcome on my program, on my platinum, golden, silver, bronze program. But it's other Michael Jordan fans are welcome to call in. If you'd like to call in, call in. There's a link right there in the description. Animal product was government subsidized. That means even vegan. So you're talking about regular rice, yeah. If you'd like to call in, there's a link right. Michael scumbag, fucking Duke. So definitely. You know what? Actually, I'm glad I didn't even think about that. You know what, man? No, he's not. That's another good topic right there. Ali writes something stupid. Charles Wright is.
I also forgot to tell y'all. So I had like a good. I think I talked to him one last time, like 2-3 weeks ago. And essentially what I did was I was able to pin him on the fact that he thinks Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest player ever, or that's his pick for best ever, because Wilt Chamberlain has a bunch of records. Like, he has a bunch of redundant and repetitive rebounding and scoring records. I mean, this is the room temperature IQ of basketball knowledge that we're dealing with. The same guy who says championships don't really matter in terms of ranking players now says that a bunch of meaningless records, which, you know, don't equate to winning necessarily, don't equate to him winning, you know, rings or being a winner or, you know, beating his competition and leading a team over other teams to prove he's the best or that he can be the best basketball player. No, he just scored a bunch of points and got a bunch of rebounds and has almost nothing to show for it at the end of the day, which I love Wilt. Wilt's one of my favorite players too. I think he's criminally underrated even for how great people think he is. But his logic as to why Wilt Chamberlain is the best ever is because he holds a bunch of scoring and rebounding records. I mean, that's it. That's the crux of why he thinks essentially Wilt is the best ever. And then he also brought up how Wilt one time, remember, Jordan is a bad passer, according to these people, right? He's not a good team player. His assist numbers aren't that good, etc. He brought up the fact that Wilt Chamberlain once led the NBA in assist with like, I think it was like 8.5 or 8.6. And then I told him, well, Jordan averaged 8 assists one year, and for his career, he averages more assists than Wilt. And essentially, he can't acknowledge that point, right? The same guy who says it's not really a big deal if Jordan scores the most points or averages the most points now wants to tell me that Wilt's the best because he has a bunch of records for doing that exact same thing. You know, it makes literally no sense.
Jordan, the top 10 guard to you. Top 10. Oh, no, definitely. You know what? Actually, I'm glad I didn't even think about that. You know what, man? No, he's not. That's another good topic right there. He's not a top 10 guard.
Jordan is not a top 10 guard. Again, by what objective metric? Championships, MVPs, steals, blocks, defense, offense, scoring. You know, like, it's just mind-boggling. There literally is maybe 1 or 2 other guards that you could even come close to approaching Jordan if we were going to be objective in terms of looking what they've done in the league.
He's not a top 10 guard. I mean, there's lots of guards better than Michael Jordan. We'll go over those names if you like. But in the meantime, we have another member here, Luke Cash. Welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going, Galaxy? It's been a minute.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for being a member.
Thanks for making content all the time.
Could you imagine being a member to this guy's page?
Thank you. I try, man. I'm trying to crank them out as much as possible. You know what my next video might be for this page? I'm going to make a video where I after Ticket TV, man.
Ticket TV?
Oh, you don't know who he is? Okay, you know what? That's okay.
And this is also the thing, like the guy said, thanks for making content. He doesn't really make content. Like, yes, he live streams, but he doesn't really even debate people. As you can see with me and the fact I gave him my number and he won't bring me on his podcast. This guy is a member because he thinks he makes content. He just clips out articles and interviews, just copy paste them into a film editor, and then he throws on his outro at the end where he's like, please subscribe to my channel. I mean, to think that this guy makes content is about the biggest reach I've ever heard of. If copy pasting is making content, then I guess.
It's okay. You don't want to know who he is, man. Trust me.
There's so many different YouTubers.
Yeah.
Oh, you talk about me again?
Ticket TV?
Oh, you don't know who he is? Okay, you know what? That's okay. You don't want to know who he is, man.
Oh,
He's
okay,
a Michael Jordan
someone
scumbag fan.
My gosh, did you see the thumbnail and title of this recent nonstop sports video?
No, what was it about?
Oh my gosh. So
Oh my gosh.
the title of the video, stats that prove Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
No. Most of these amateur pages, like I know I have an amateur page too, but most of these amateur pages, I hardly ever play the videos.
Yeah, this is a really big page, and they have a huge following, and they do lots of different videos where they're like, how good was this guy really, and how good was this guy really, and
Oh,
they
I know
even
who he's
do
talking about.
different sports, and they have tons of followers, and they have actually different people who make different videos for the channel. So this is like a huge thing.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, okay. It sounds familiar to me. Like whenever it's like some guy making a page, it's like an amateur page, you know?
yeah, no, these people are pretty big and professional about it. But they have this video called "Stats That Prove Michael Jordan is the GOAT," and it's this really dumb thumbnail, and it says the GOAT right next to Jordan's face while he's making this expression. And it's an 8-minute long video, and you get four minutes into the video before they finally stop talking about scoring.
Yeah.
Oh no, guys, they talked about scoring. Oh no, they talked about scoring half the time. Oh no. So what? Jordan is, I'll say it right now, Jordan is the best scorer that has ever played in the NBA. If you average out his points, he would have had 4,000 or 5,000 more than Kareem by the end of his career. He averaged the most points in the playoffs and in the regular season. How is he not the greatest scorer, and how do you not make that one of your main points? I mean, this guy thinks he's making some big point like, oh, for half the time they talked about scoring. Okay, and? He's the greatest scorer ever. What do you want them to talk about? He's also one of the greatest defenders ever, and I'm sure they talked about that for the other 4 minutes. These people are so salty, bro.
And then they say some things about, oh, well, he got these awards, and he got this defensive award. And then
this is my other problem, right? So, Universe Galaxy will say something like, you know, all the records for Wilt, correct? All the records for Wilt prove he's the best, right? But all the accomplishments Jordan has, they just hand wave away. You notice that? Like, oh, they brought up all these awards. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, motherfucker, that's how we judge and rank people, and at the end of the year we decide who the best players are, who achieve the most. You know, and this is the guy, he probably thinks MVPs then, I guess, don't matter or something like that.
they say, oh, well, maybe he's not as great a passer as LeBron, but he's a pretty good passer. And then they start talking about his triple doubles and assists and rebounds.
Just cherry picking what they want to go by, and then some of the points they go by are ridiculous.
Cherry picking? I don't understand how talking about sports in general it would be considered cherry picking, right? Like, talking about scoring isn't cherry picking. Talking about stats isn't cherry picking.
Anyway.
Yes, and it's very funny because after they finally stop talking about his scoring, like every other point they go by, you're sitting there like, yeah, but it's not that exceptional compared to like the actual leaders in those categories.
Hey, bro, instead of you watching a video and, you know, using that as you're kind of throwing up this video as your opponent, why don't you yourself look into the stats of Michael Jordan instead of having someone else tell you about Michael Jordan and being like, well, that was dumb.
Right.
If I make a video about how someone is the best ever and I just talk about it for 4 minutes and I talk about their stats, well, then I guess I just proved that person really isn't that good because I made a bad video on them.
Right. No, and then, you know, some of the stuff, you know, they bring up, you know, they're not going to be consistent, and some of the points they bring up are just silly anyway. I mean, when I say they, I mean pretty much all these Michael Jordan fans. There's no reason to pick Michael Jordan. As I put in the video today, man, I don't even think Michael Jordan was ever the best player in the NBA when he was in the NBA. Was there ever a year he was the best player?
But here's the thing. This is like this is a really popular, like, watchable channel that you go to occasionally whenever you see something pop up in your feed of like, oh, this is actually pretty interesting. I want to see about this. Like, for example, they had a Johnny Manziel video where they explained all about the nonsense that happened with Johnny Manziel back in the day. And they actually went into more detail about like his Canadian football career and all that shit. And like they did the whole collapse of Johnny Manziel.
Maybe they have some other stuff that's reliable, but I mean, just going by what you told me about the Michael Jordan stuff, that right there shows me they're not reliable. And once they're not reliable, I don't know if I want to waste my time with their other videos, you know?
Oh yeah, and they do terrible NBA videos.
Terrible NBA
so
videos.
They do make terrible NBA videos. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
why go to their page? Is there any videos that they, other than Johnny?
People make terrible NBA videos, guys. Therefore, Jordan's not the GOAT. It's clear as day. You can all see it, right? The logic checks out.
Do they have other videos that you think are good?
Yeah, they occasionally have videos like that pop up that are just from some really interesting figure in sports that you don't always hear talked about.
Oh, okay.
Different sports, and they actually do a good job of these videos. And it's really not so bad when they're not doing NBA videos because it's not driven by that whole, oh, we got to sell Jordan, sell Jordan thing. Whenever they're doing like NFL videos, they're not so much like that. They're not like they're not slavish to this one dumb cult that like tries to spin a narrative that makes everyone look bad. So whenever they talk about NFL players, they're not like, oh yeah, this guy's obviously better. They just talk about how great all these Hall of Famers are.
You're going to tell me that they don't have a Tom Brady video where they obviously call him the greatest quarterback ever? Or at least allude to it? Come on, bro.
Oh, okay. Real quick, Lukash, we have a Michael Jordan lover in the chat room, Joel Hernandez. Hombre, why don't you call into my program, man, instead of typing online like an online tough guy, man? So many people, and I'm not talking about everyone literally. There's lots of reasons why people don't call into a program, and I understand those reasons. But why are there so many people like this hombre here, Joel Hernandez, who they act tough and smart and like they're on top?
See, he like goes after people in the chat who he probably figures he'll dunk on, or he'll, weasel his way around a conversation with them to make them sort of look dumb and do the cherry picking stuff he does, and using exceptions instead of rules, that kind of stuff. But then, like, when I'm on there, he runs away and he makes excuses like, "Oh, you ruined it. I can't have you on my page because whatever reason." Essentially, I wiped the floor with them
And all that, but they have no guts to call into a program to show their facts on whatever they disagree on.
I called in. This dude has my number. This is his rule. He says, "Give me your number, and I'll set you up, or I'll give me your number, and I'll have you on my podcast." Where essentially he says he doesn't mute people, or like it's sort of like more of an open forum, right? The first time I ever called into this guy, I immediately emailed him my number after we talked on stream, and I said I would do it, and he just ran away. Just never did anything. I can show the email chain. He starts insulting me and saying like, "Oh, because." I can't even remember. I'll have to go pull it up. But essentially because, like, he doesn't like me or what have you, he's like, "I'm not going to have you on my page," right? And then he does these ultimatums like he did earlier where he's like, if you just apologize, right? That's what I mean. Like, he's very unreasonable, very tedious, very feminine energy.
Because there's a difference between being opinionated and educated, I guess.
Okay. You don't suppose maybe they don't know how to like call in, do you? Like, I know Michael Jordan fans are dumb, but do you think like for them they're so dumb that they don't know how?
Oh
Wonderful
my
point,
God.
Joel Hernandez. You have made an excellent point. You know what? I'm going to put down my crack pipe.
Good insult,
and
bro.
I'm going to realize he's a goat. Let me put down my crack pipe. Hold on. Okay, put down. Dark Canyon Russell is here. Hernandez wrote about it. And now that Joel Hernandez has written about this, I think it's fair to say, Lukash, he has convinced everyone here that Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time. Are you convinced? 6 for 6.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Definitely. I have a question, Galaxy.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I was meaning to ask you, what happened to your Discord server?
Oh yeah, I wrote about it on my Discord page. Basically, before I deleted it, I wrote a whole long thing about it. Should I even keep it anymore? Man, it's a lot of reasons which I won't get into right now just because we're on the show. But just to give you an idea, it was just a waste of time. It wasn't like it was building up, but it was like I'm going there every day to check on if anyone's in the VC room. I'm going to check if anyone's subscribing, what's going on in the chat room. And all. It's like, why am I spending time on here? If I'm going to go on here and interact with people, I'm not just going on YouTube and build up my YouTube page. It wasn't building up as much as I wanted it to build up. And Discord, it can be a really nasty place anyway. So can YouTube, sure.
Yeah, I can see any of that
Boo-hoo.
because I was.
That's all I heard. Boo-hoo.
And then I gave it a second chance. Like, anyway, but yeah, so it was doing well. It had over 1,000 people, but it wasn't doing as well as I wanted to, and it just wasn't worth the time. You know what I mean? So I just thought, I just delete it. What's the point? But anyway, really, that's nice. Joel Hernandez goes back to the smoking crack joke. There's a bunch of people. Shaq has a case. Hakeem Olajuwon.
It's like maybe.
Stockton.
He's
might be
got
someone.
6
I'm also gonna
watching,
include Magic
5
Johnson, 'cause he played in the
watching.
90s for a while. Larry Bird, maybe. He played in the 90s for a while.
Y'all can
Charles
see
Barkley,
that in the
Gary Payton.
bottom left,
But
5
no, it wasn't
watching.
Michael Jordan.
Pathetic.
Michael Jordan was not.
Let's just leave
very
that
nice.
up.
At the level that Magic Johnson was playing at in the early 90s, not a problem either. I think people should actually give more credit to that year statistically because I mean
He's older and he was coming off the bench sometimes, and so were like prime Magic Johnson games, like 30s, 20 some points, rebounds, assists, and all that. And he wasn't playing point guard as much sometimes. Nick Van Exel had the ball lots of times, and they had other people on that team who had the ball. He had the ball less, and for him to still put up those numbers and play the way he did, I mean, it was pretty good, man. Chick Hearn was saying like, I knew he'd be good, but I know he'd be this good.
or I'm simply wrong, but did he play in the Euro League after that point, or was he playing Euro ball in between?
I don't know.
Did he play in the Euro League after? And you can correct me if I'm like misremembering this, or I'm simply wrong. But did he play in the Euro League after?
But
I
I
know
know a traveling team that he would go around playing a better player than Michael Jordan. And what about Michael Jordan, by the way, telling Magic Johnson to go retire? You know what I'm saying? Like, even okay, we don't know the details. Maybe he was joking and all that, but this kind of a shit move right there. Like, to go tell somebody.
This guy, dude, this is so aggravating. Like, Jordan tells Magic Johnson to retire, and he gets like he uses any little thing to jump on Jordan. It's just so pathetic, man. You can tell this guy like just has a hard on for hating Jordan. That's really all it boils down to.
Go retire and all that.
I read something about why Magic Johnson retired, and by that I mean his last year. And apparently he not only had an agreement with his wife Galaxy, but he paid her quite a bit of money, and she said it was well over $1 million that he paid her on the agreement that he would play 1 year and that was it.
His wife?
Yes, his wife, Magic Johnson's wife, made an agreement with him, and he had to pay her a huge sum of money in order for her to agree that it's okay that he will play 1 more season and she won't divorce him. And she said that if he played any more than that season, that she would divorce him.
So basically, they had some agreement with something else, and he couldn't
Didn't Magic Johnson get AIDS? Am I missing something here?
pay her back, or he wanted to pay her in a different way.
No, this was him literally paying her money so that she would agree she was all right with him playing basketball for another season.
Okay. So she didn't want him to play, but he was like, "Oh, what if I pay you?"
Yes.
Okay, and she only wanted him to play for 1 year.
Yeah, and that's why he only played for 1 year.
I
read
read this. Wow, I know. Where'd you get that information from?
I can so if you're able to see the DMs on Discord, I will go back to where I found and read that article recently, and it showed the quotations from his wife specifically saying all that.
Wow, I didn't know that. No, I'll try to find that information, man.
Maybe he's talking
I
about
think I
after
found,
his career in
That's
Europe or
never
something.
heard-
But
never known.
stories. They were saying that I don't know if this is true or not, obviously, but the reports were, well, I guess the team wasn't ready, or maybe like there wasn't he wasn't used to the way things were, and he wanted to retire on his own terms and all that. What about all that?
What about his last season?
Yeah, 96.
Gosh, I wasn't I'm not sure, man, because I wasn't abreast of everything at the time. I was too young, like I could watch basketball, but
That's fine. Joel Hernandez. Orale, vato. Hernandez. Joel, amigo, entra. Why are you scared? Just call into my program, my LeBron.
why are you
program.
scared,
sure,
bro?
of course it wasn't mine.
There you go. But Lucas, do you think he's gonna call in? Seriously?
Well, maybe he will.
An animal, and the animal chases the fishing rod, but he can never get it. That's
Things like years, they've been like at the expense of other players.
Jordan Robertson, Pete Maravich, Jerry West, Kobe
All right, let's just
Bryant.
go live.
Oh,
You
you're
got
taking-
legends
you're-
like
you're
Larry
taking things-
Legend,
You're taking things too seriously.
Irvin Magic Johnson,
So his new topic is
Shaquille
popularity,
O'Neal,
Magic.
Kobe, saying that Jordan is the
What I'm gonna
GOAT.
do is I'm gonna
Then
let
they
him start
are. Then
himself
he
off.
is the GOAT. Man.
Oh yeah, this is the other thing, right? Like this is why like anybody like him who says like, "Oh, I have a page and I make content and like I'm so educated," right? All this guy does is just I've already said it earlier. All he does is clip, copy paste like interviews and stuff like that. And then he puts his like shilling thing at the end. Where he's like, please become a member or whatever the fuck he does. But like what's so funny is like I even mentioned this in my MJ video that if you bring up how almost everyone, right, there's a consensus largely, and this is one of his big gripes, is like the consensus is that Jordan is the greatest ever, right? And if you bring up all of these other players who have said Jordan is the greatest, you can see he's already getting worked up. He's getting mad. He doesn't like that you're literally using his best argument or his most used argument. You're using it against him, and you have 10 times the firepower than what he has in terms of people saying Jordan isn't the GOAT or there could be someone else who's better. Again, it's like this is what I was saying. There's no objective reasoning with him. There's no baseline. There's no like objective thing we can agree on, right? So if you wanted to say anecdotal stories matter, that's why I clip them, that's why I use them, that's why I post them on my channel, totally fine. But then if I come back and do the same thing, you can't then hand wave it away and say it doesn't matter. Either you can objectively use it and I can too, or none of us can use it.
Let
Man,
him set himself up for shop. Let him finish this, and I'm gonna embarrass him when he's done with these stupid examples.
you're
Go
not
ahead.
embarrassing anything but yourself.
The reason you don't get it is because you're in love with him. You grew up with him. He's your
I'm not in
childhood
love with
hero
him.
and all.
You're in
If
love
you-
with
if-
hating him.
Yeah, see, this also I mentioned, like, essentially if you defend Jordan, like, so let's say I thought Larry Bird was the greatest ever, and I made an argument for Larry Bird. Does that make me a Larry Bird fanboy in which I'm just being subjective and I have no logic or baseline reasoning I'm trying to use, and I'm just simply saying he's the best ever just because it's just my favorite player? You know, just because someone argues pro Jordan doesn't make them a Jordan fanboy. You know, like, essentially, it's kind of weird, right, to say I invite argumentation and debate, but if you take the other side of the issue, I'm just gonna slander you as being a fanboy and that you're being subjective and you're not using any sort of logic, right? Like, how are we supposed to engage with you if you offer the debate, I take it, right? I take the other side, and then as soon as I do that, you just call me a Jordan fanboy. Like, how are we supposed to have any kind of civil discussion or sort of build on anything?
If you
That's the
really
thing.
listen to the difference between us. I don't pick Michael Jordan. I hate him. Are you listening to yourself?
No. I
Who's
don't think you hate him.
and
I
who's-
just think you're
and who's-
delusional.
And who's taking
By
this too
saying-
seriously?
I
Who's
think
taking
you're
this too seriously?
delusional.
If
The guy who has 100 videos on why Jordan isn't the GOAT wants to ask someone else who's taking it too seriously.
I had a sports player that I liked and someone else didn't pick him, and I said, "Oh, you're delusional. You smoke crack. You're taking this
That's literally what he's doing. He's literally saying if you take Jordan, you're a fanboy, you're an idiot. And then he doesn't like if you do it to him.
too seriously and all that." Who's taking this too seriously? Who's taking this too seriously? You are. You're in love with the guy. I can answer.
The guy who hosts like weekly, daily live streams to debate, the guy who posts a video almost every other or every 2 or 3 days about Jordan, that guy thinks other people are taking it too seriously. Interesting.
Every time I answer one of your points, you laugh it off and insult me, and you go to a new point. I cannot prove you wrong if you're not willing to go 1 point at a time. Which point do you want to go to? Do you want to go to Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe? Let's list
I
all.
am proving you wrong.
Let's list
I
all
am
your.
proving you wrong.
That's good. Everyone knows that. Let's list all your points. Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, 6 rings.
Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, including himself.
Kareem
Bill
Abdul-Jabbar,
Russell as well.
and all these things. So here, you said a bunch of things. Which one, Your Majesty, do you want me to address?
All of them. That's the point, is that this is what you do, right? You clip out all these people who say Jordan isn't that good or isn't the GOAT. So address them all. Why not just address the fact that most people say Jordan is the GOAT way more than the people say the opposite that you use?
Because you're not going to listen to everything. I already know that. You Michael Jordan fans are the Donald Trump fans of the NBA world.
Oh, he got us, guys. Oh, man. Oh. He dropped the Donald Trump insult. He got him.
You can't understand why your guy is wrong or not the best or trustworthy. And every
so
time
weak.
someone tries to prove you
I
wrong,
mean, I take that as a compliment. The Donald Trump of the NBA. Hey, that's what's up.
There you go. That's my boy. There we go. Give it right back to him.
Your
Just like, I don't care.
Are to insult me,
Listen,
or laugh, or laugh at me, or tell me, hey, dude, you're taking this too seriously, or to act like you're just winning straight up.
Listen to me. You're a disgrace. Just commentary of all sports.
And you called in my show.
You should quit your show. Okay.
Yeah, get him.
By the way, I just want to point out to you, Joel Hernandez, even though you won't admit this, at least I know on at least some of your points when you gave me
You don't know Jack. You don't know Jack.
And you didn't prove me wrong in anything.
He's going to mute him in a second.
You need to quit your show. You need to quit talking about basketball.
See what I mean? Look at how emotional it is talking about who takes this too seriously. See what I mean? You see what I mean? This is how they are, folks. They can't understand why.
The guy who, again, like I said, the guy who constantly talks about Jordan, who brings up Donald Trump out of nowhere, who insults people, calls them crackheads, calls them scumbags 24/7, right? Is now claiming other people are emotional and they're way too into it. It's just, again, how do you honestly engage with someone like this?
Why you're taking down their childhood NBA hero? They don't get it. They're so into the guy. It's like if you talk about Michael Jordan, it's like you're talking.
This guy's into Jordan way more than any Jordan fan I've ever met. He's way more into Jordan than any Jordan fan I've ever met.
About their mom or dad. Like, you know what I mean? Look at the answers he's giving me so far. It's a fact. He's number one. Oh, no, it's an opinion. Oh, no. Everybody picks him. Oh, no, you're no Jack. Oh, you're on crack. Oh, you know what? You're a disgrace. Oh, you should take down your show. Oh, you haven't proven me wrong in anything.
Well, you should take down your show.
And then, of course, when he realizes he's stuck, he goes, you never recorded me.
When people think basketball, they think Michael Jordan, okay? Same way that people think golf, they think of Tiger Woods. They think of boxing, think of Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson.
So people are dumb. So what?
No, people are not. So people are dumb? Now who's being the more judgmental one? Now you're being people are dumb? Come on, man.
This guy's getting them.
Dumb things that you said. You are dumb. I can tell.
He's running around.
Well, you should quit your show, and yeah, that's what I would say.
It's not even my main page, and I get like 2,000 subscribers. Not even my main page. It's in the page. You want to know my main page? You want to talk about popularity? By the way, the guys that you listed, some of those guys go to my main page. Do you know what my main page is?
I have no clue.
Okay, well, when you find out,
I was just referred here from a friend that I work with.
When you find out, I'm sure you'll dismiss. Every time I say something, you just dismiss everything I say. Anything. You're not gonna, like I told you.
What do you say?
You're not gonna listen to anything I say anyway. Every time I answer one of your points, you always laugh it off and go to a new topic. At least with you.
Look how emotional he's getting, bro. He's so mad.
What are you doing? Wait, Hernandez, just time out.
You know, I think I'm gonna have to start stream sniping this guy a little more. Like, I think it might be more fun just to like talk about how stupid he is.
1 second. Even if you say you won, I know you believe in your mind you won. At least give me credit. I've answered some of your points. You haven't answered any of my points.
I mean, all right. Like, what do you want me to say, man?
Okay. Which point? Because I know how you are. You tell me which point
you
want.
You know how I am. Anyway, I'm gonna just ignore you said that.
Yeah, everyone who reads what you write and sees how you react knows how you are. You're not going to admit because you have pride. You're too prideful to admit you're wrong. Okay. Or you lost. Okay. But let's try this. You
know me very well.
I know from what you show. I didn't say I know you personally. I'm going by what you show us. But let's try to not get sidetracked again. You keep getting sidetracked. Show me one point. You think you're right. Just show me one. Let me address it, and then you can follow up. Can we try that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what point do you want to go by? I have a favorite. I like the one where you made it seem like most Hall of Famers.
Do a little test here, guys. This is not a real person.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Most Hall of Famers don't pick them. You made that shit up.
No. There are interviews with them saying who you think the greatest players. Jordan is.
I'm telling you right now.
Including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, including David Robinson. Shaquille O'Neal.
No, that's not. First of all, that's not most Hall of Famers. First of all,
Cool,
But
cool.
secondly, I'm telling you again, most Hall of Famers.
I think that's all you need.
make
I
that
guess
up.
maybe a
That's what your
donation.
point is.
Oh Lord.
Nice.
All right. Fine. Whatever.
Okay. Are you gonna
Record,
find whatever? That's his answer, folks. Find whatever. Oh Lord. All right. You see what I mean? They just can't accept that they were brainwashed. I know
He is
why.
greatest.
I know why you.
He is the
think most
greatest
Hall of
player
Famers-
of all
You see what I mean? Like, oh, you have a difference of opinion than me. You're a brainwashed fanboy. Okay, bro.
time
I
and the
mean,
greatest
you know
player in the
what I mean?
90s.
I asked him to give me a
You
topic.
understand?
He brought it up.
Got
I
some more
addressed the
King on,
topic.
guys.
He laughs, and now he goes to
He's
he's
the greatest.
He's
He's
the
the
greatest.
greatest. That's
He's the
why he
greatest.
still selling
He's the
shoes.
greatest.
Even that.
You
Yeah.
know what? If he was the greatest, Joe Hernandez,
He's
it would
still
be
selling
nice.
shoes.
If he was the greatest, it would be nice if you proved that.
2 3-peats. 2
How did
3-peats.
He didn't win rings
Two
by himself.
repeats.
He didn't win rings by himself, you moron.
Oh, of course. Nobody wins a ring by himself. Without
But how
Shaq,
come-
Kobe
but how
couldn't
come
win.
the-
Without Kobe, Shaq couldn't win.
Nobody wins rings by themselves. How come the
No,
only
of course
people who bring up rings the most are you Michael Jordan fans?
Okay, so this is a little thing I wanted to get into. This is going back to why he thinks rings don't really matter when ranking people, and I brought this up in my MJ video, right? Basketball, of all the team sports, allows superstars or the best player to have the most influence and control over a game, over the outcome of a game. There's simply no denying this. Secondly, Jordan won the most rings, 6, which is, in terms of like superstars, is third all time behind Bill Russell and Hakeem. Bill Russell and Kareem. I was right the first time. He's essentially is behind those guys. Again, 2 powerful centers in their time when that was essentially all you did. And here comes a guard who wins 2 3-peats, right? Proving that without a shadow of a doubt, when he plays a full season, that he is the best in the league. MVP, scoring titles, defensive player of the year, all defensive teams, assist, blocks, etc., right? He also is the only player to ever win a ring and have one other player average double digits in scoring. And in that year, Scottie, I think, averaged like 16 or something, 16 or 17. Nobody else on the Bulls averaged over 8 points. I mean, in my video, I say this. Jordan won the most with the least. There is almost no denying this. Wilt Chamberlain played with 9 other Hall of Famers when he won. Kareem played with 7 other Hall of Famers to get his rings. Magic played with 5 other Hall of Famers to get his rings. Everyone has played with at least 3, 4, 5, 6 people when they have won to get their rings. Jordan won 3 with 1 other Hall of Famer. And by the way, Pippen, in my opinion, is probably the most overrated. One of the most. I'll have to go do some research on this, but I think he's one of the most overrated sidekicks or second superstars ever. He was a great glue guy. He's probably one of the best glue guys, if you can use that term, in the NBA that's ever played, which is why I think he was such a good compliment to Jordan, is because Jordan could focus on essentially dominating on scoring and his defense as well, and Scottie was very good at sort of doing a lot of the other things, right? So, in my opinion, Scottie's one of the most overrated second players or sidekicks to a superstar that there's ever been. When Jordan left, Pippen was no better. You know, you would think that if Pippen was so good, if you want to try to take something away from Jordan, that when Jordan left, he just would have like crushed his numbers. He would have gone up by like 25% across the board or something. He averaged like 1 more point, 1 more rebound, and his efficiency went down across the board. I mean, Pippen, I love Pippen's game myself. You know, like he'd be one of those guys I'd love to have on my team. But in terms of like sidekicks to a superstar, I think he's really overrated in terms of this whole MJ debate with the Universe Galaxy.
Yeah, because nobody's done what Jordan's done. See?
You make that up too.
Nobody's done what Jordan's done.
You made that up too. You just making things up.
six-
You just making
six
things up.
rings.
You know, I should
Six
change the
rings.
name. I should
3 in
change
a
the name
row.
of the page from
And
Michael
6
Jordan fans are
MVPs.
worse to
You would-
Michael
you
Jordan
would
fans make
expect-
things up.
hey,
You listen to
hey,
anything I'm saying. You see what I mean? I told you
check this
guys at
out,
the
buddy.
beginning when he called. I told you
Check
when he
this out,
called
check
in.
this out.
I told you
Hey,
he's not going to listen to
You
anything
would
I
expect
say.
at least.
and
You would
that's
expect
why-
Pippen.
that's why-
You would expect Pippen to win 1 MVP in the finals. No, it was all Jordan.
Joe, I can't keep you on. You're going to keep acting like this. You're not having a real debate with me. You're just too prideful to admit you're wrong. You want to have a real debate? Or you want to keep acting stupid, man?
I don't know. I just know that Jordan's the best. That's all I
You don't
know.
know. Then you don't know much.
All right, buddy. All right.
Well, I'm waiting for. I'm giving you a platform. We're not in radio where you have a time limit. Show me one
You're
thing.
just talking nonsense. That's all you're doing. You're talking nonsense.
That means you're not smart. That
All you're
means
doing
you're
is yipping and yapping. You're chirping like a bird.
And what are you doing? And what are you doing?
asinine.
And what are you doing? And what are you doing? Nothing.
Yeah, as I kind of stated a second ago, in terms of like, especially his position and the era that he played in, Jordan has easily accomplished the most out of just about any player. again, if you want to bring up rings with Russell, I mean, in my video, I kind of go over how, you know, not that Russell is not a good player. I think he'd dominate in any era, but his championships which is essentially like the cornerstone of his legacy, right? And maybe he would have also won some finals MVPs or something like that. That's like the cornerstone of why Bill Russell's even in the argument. And I mean, of course, he was a good rebounder and everything, but in terms of like why he's a goat to some people is because of his rings. His rings are really overinflated. Like 7, 8, 9 teams. You play 2 rounds of playoffs. He played with 7 other Hall of Famers, which means the Celtics were just absolutely stacked compared to everyone else. They're just, you know, I just don't. You look at how Jordan won his rings in an era of the salary cap that he was in, and the fact that he didn't have near the help that Russell did, or the near dominance in terms of an overall roster that Russell did. It's quite easy to say that no one has done what Jordan has done. In my opinion, statistically, Kareem is probably statistically and award-wise is probably the next closest. But again, if you Jordan scored more, he won 1 less ring, except with, you know, half the talent. If he had kept playing, he would have passed Kareem's all-time scoring record, which I think had Jordan done that, then Kareem wouldn't even be in the picture in terms of comparing him to MJ, or as much as he is. If MJ would have kept playing and then surpassed his all-time scoring total, then I think Jordan would probably, in most people's mind, probably be a pretty clear favorite there. Also, Kareem spent about 10 years where he didn't win a championship. You know, again, for as good as Kareem was, you know, he had as much help as Jordan did during those 10 years, and he couldn't win. You know, Jordan has won 6 rings with, you know, 1 to 2 other Hall of Famers on his team. That is extremely impressive. And had he kept playing, he would have smashed a lot of other records, a lot of other titles and stuff like that. And it wouldn't even be close. If Jordan just got 1 more ring, 1 more MVP, and scored some more points and padded his stats a little bit. It's crazy to think that Jordan sat out for like 4 or 5 years, right? Let's call it like the twilight of his prime, right? Maybe just coming over the peak on the way down. But still, had he just padded his stats a little more, maybe got 1 more trophy, I mean, Jordan would be in another atmosphere compared to everyone else.
At least
That's all he's doing. You're just chirping like a bird, yipping and yapping, hitting on Jordan.
By the way, you know what he's doing, folks? You know what he's doing? He knows he's not going to win, so he wants to keep doing this so I can hang up on him.
That's about winning. I don't care about winning.
He's not ready to stay on. He's not ready. He doesn't want to stay on. So, but he's too prideful to hang up. That's what's happening. But anyway.
You know what? I'll just hang up right now.
You gentlemen have a good one. Come back, an asshole. I'll hang up on you first. All right, anyway. I told you, folks. I told you exactly what was going to happen. Can you give
he just hangs up on people and mutes them.
Give me my credit, like Drake said, give me my respect. Give me my respect. I told you exactly what was going to happen when he called it. I'm really good at picking up people's personalities. I'm not saying I'm 100% right. Sometimes I'm wrong, obviously. I'm a human being. I don't always have everything right, obviously, all the facts, you know, all the guesses and assumptions and all that. But I told you, based on the way he was talking, typing in the chat room, this is not a smart person. He's an emotional.
He just projects on people because they disagree with him, you know? Like, I can tell from your chats in the chat room that you're just not that smart. Come on, man.
Person who's just going to have too much pride to admit that he's wrong. He's not going to be reasonable. There was a couple of times in the debate where I was like, look, no fighting. Let's just get to it. Come on, let's go 1 point at a time. I was trying to reason with the guy. I was really trying. How do you reason with somebody who keeps going, you're full of shit. They're just yibber-yapping. Whatever, dude. You didn't prove me wrong. Whatever, Jordan is the greatest. How do you reason with someone like that? You can't. You cannot reason with someone like this. Our parents told us, listen, you can't fight with everyone in the world. There's a lot of stupid people in this world. They believe in dumb things and all that, and they were right. This is one of them. No matter what you say, he's going to ignore everything you say, and he's going to either act like he won, or insult you, or laugh.
Get on with it!
Laugh at you, or go to a new topic. How many times did I answer his point, and he would laugh? In what topic you all the nothing. I believe one. Some of the
look how long I'm fast forwarding it. Look how long he rambles about this one guy who just.
But then when I brought it up and said, "Oh, you know, he got stomped on." Ex-Jordan fans. Anyway, all right. Fucking the chat room. You know why? Because he knows he got stomped on. He got smacked.
Yeah, dude, we got him, man.
Fucking made a fool out of him.
Yeah.
Fucking believable, man. Seriously, these fucking Michael Jordan fans.
Yeah, dude.
Right, Exanovia, you're on the program. 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 Right.
I don't get why he brought him on.
Speaking of scumbags, Delta Pack is here. Delta Pack, for those of you who don't know,
He
is
brought
an
him
old,
on and then kicked him
bald-headed
off and acted
guy
like he
who's
was
married
talking
to
to
a
him. I
whore,
don't get that.
a fucking whore, a whore of a wife. I'm telling you, fucking, and she's old too. She wears too much makeup and she's way too fucking skinny. So she's a whore. She's old. She's way too skinny and she wears too much makeup. But anyway, maybe that's what he likes. Delta Pack, is that what you like, man? Do you like old whores who are way too skinny and wear too much makeup? Delta, why don't you call in, man? Seriously, call in again. Although there's no point in you calling in because every time you call in, or sorry, not every time, but a lot of times when you call in, you just end up hanging up on your own anyway. He hangs up on himself. He just leaves. He'll call in and then he'll leave and he'll call in again. He'll leave. And a lot of times when he calls in, he's fucking drunk as fuck. You know? Anyway, all right, Luke Cash, welcome back to the program.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Did you hear the debate, the so-called debate?
Yeah, and Jamal Ali over here is saying that Joel Hernandez won that debate.
Yeah. Well, Jamal Ali is probably just joking around. He's also
He's
a
saying
Michael
he
Jordan lover.
gave good points. He was fantastic.
Isn't it amazing how the only people who side with Michael Jordan fans are other Michael Jordan fans? I mean, Jamal Ali is a Michael Jordan lover.
Yeah, I was thinking, why doesn't he call in again?
I he's scared.
He's
So which
called
one of Joel? Oh, what was it?
He's called into the program before.
Yeah, he's called. Yeah, no. Jamal Ali is called in once in a while to the live stream, but he never has the guts to go on my podcast. And sometimes he's scared to call into my live stream too. Actually,
He should be on the podcast.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go on. You can ask him why he won't go on.
He doesn't
But I think he's also scared to call in the live stream sometimes. Sometimes, because sometimes he has called in, but sometimes I think he's too scared to call in. Then, but anyway, when it comes to Joel Hernandez, which one of his magical points did you like? Did you like the one where he said it's a fact Michael Jordan's the greatest in the '90s, or the one he said it was an opinion, or when he acted like most Hall of Famers picked him as the greatest player of all time, or something else? Hello?
I don't know what his deal is. I think he was just
Luke, you there?
I don't know if he's being entirely serious. He seemed like he was acting like a caricature.
Yeah, you could be right, but I think he was, for the most part, he's serious. I think he's a Michael Jordan lover. I think he really disagrees. And
The guy who calls everyone a scumbag and a Jordan fanboy thinks that the other people are acting like a caricature. Really, really interesting take right there.
I think it's really stupid if someone doesn't pick him and all that.
Oh yeah, it seems to me that sometimes there are people like this that try to sound as ridiculous as they can on purpose to like I don't know, get their attention or whatever.
Yeah, you could be right. Yeah, Delta Pack is writing stupid things. Look at his comebacks. I live in my mom's basement. Oh, these are his comebacks, folks. Kindergarten bullshit. So if I live in my mom's basement, then this means if you think I'm a loser, then you're a bigger loser. You're listening to a guy's program multiple times when he has a program that's in his mom's basement. So you like my program. So you're a bigger loser than me. I'm not saying I'm a loser, but if you're calling me a loser, by your logic, you're a bigger loser than me. You bald-headed, old, married to a skinny whore who wears too much makeup and is old.
God damn,
Anyway.
dude. You see what I mean?
Where's
God,
my wife?
fuck.
Bring her on, man. She actually had more spunk than you. You know, Luke Cash, this guy had his whore wife on multiple times. And, you know, his whore wife was starting drama with me, so I gave her drama back. And this bald-headed old guy fucking didn't even back up his wife. Like, he just ignored it pretty much. He didn't, like, kind of like, I'm not saying he gave it a 100% pass, but he wasn't really standing up for her and giving her, like, backing her up and, like, you know, like, say, hey, like, you know, don't do that and all that. He was just staying out of it. His wife seemed to have a bigger dick than him. You know what I mean?
God, this guy is pathetic, man.
Life to this. This is not a topic to go on.
That person was
So this is also what he does. Like, he'll debate like one or two people, maybe. I mean, what we just saw is like the best you could possibly hope for. But then he'll just sit on stream after a while, right? He'll get comfy with like someone who just agrees with him. And like the whole point of his channel is to debate about MJ. And then they'll just sit here and circle jerk each other for like 20 minutes.
spamming the hell out of your private chat for like a long time there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And also, I don't know who the heck has been.
I don't think Michael Jordan was better than Oscar Robertson.
Let me see what this guy has to say.
Hey, what's up?
All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I found something interesting, right? So, I was typing in the comments, but I found it interesting that both Will Chamberlain and Viralstyle had Michael Jordan in their top 6 players of all time, or top 6 players of all time. And that,
Well, they probably changed that because Will Chamberlain had an interview with ESPN, Chris Myers, I think it was, and he said something
Your quote is not valid. My quote is valid.
like, I'm pretty sure you've seen the video. He said something like, there was another. I don't think Michael Jordan was better than Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and a number of guys.
That's the thing, right? So in his top 6, right, he included those 3 people you named. You know what I'm saying? He did, however, mention Michael Jordan last. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying maybe he did. I don't say you're wrong, but that probably changed because he said
No, it was the same interview.
no, but no, you didn't hear what I said though. I was going to finish it up that he said I don't think Michael Jordan's better than this guy, this guy, this guy, and then he said and a number of guys.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I don't know if that interview came prior.
To be honest with you, the whole anecdotal story or topic of using other people's like top 5, top 10 list or their greatest ever, it's just a one big runaround. It's just nothing but anecdotal opinions, people listing their own subjective best players ever. You know, like the whole genre that he uses of like using quotes or people's all of it really needs to go out the window when you're debating, trying to objectively debate something. Like all opinions, even if they are Hall of Famers and other NBA players, I understand you want to use them because like who would know better than them. But it's just, the whole thing needs to go. It doesn't have, it would never stand up like in a metaphorical court of law to be like, well, this person said MJ isn't the GOAT. Well, this person said that MJ is the GOAT. It's just like a completely tiring and losing endeavor. It gets nobody anywhere. It's a complete waste of time.
Or after, but opinions can waver. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people change their minds, man. I don't know, but
constantly. But just the fact that he mentioned him in the top 6, even over other bigs, like because he himself was a center. Like he mentioned him over Artis Gilmore, Bill Laimbeer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like a bunch of other centers and a bunch of other Hall of Fame centers that he played against. And the same thing along like with Bill Russell. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
both.
I believe you. I just hope you believe me that he's basically saying
No,
Michael Jordan's not better than those guys and a number of guys.
yeah, but the thing is, he mentioned him in the same win, and well, and I didn't see that specific interview, but I'm not sure if it came before or after. But the interview that I'm going off of,
It probably came
got him in
after
the top
because
5.
this was
Same
like
thing with Bill
this
Russell.
was like a short while before he died, so it might have been later.
I think the interview I saw was when he was like 59,
Like I don't know how old he was. I don't know how old was he when he died.
63, 62.
Okay. So yeah, this interview might be newer, but honestly, just use common sense here, man. People always think that the players from their time were better, and they think as time passes, the NBA is getting weaker, or they're not as tough, or they make too much money, and all that. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna take and also, he thinks Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson are better, and those
But
guys. So there's probably other guys he thinks are better too, who are
but he
just
didn't
who
name
are on
them
that
though.
level.
He didn't name them though.
No, but again, he said a
That's the
number
thing.
of guys. He said a
That's the
number
thing.
of
And
guys.
but the thing is, we don't know if that interview came before or after the interview I just mentioned.
No, well,
So
now we're going to circle. No, now we're going in a circle. Like I said, use some common sense. Old people always say their time was better. Today's time sucks. It was tougher back in the day. Today's players are spoiled. They're not.
yeah,
They
they
don't.
didn't.
They're
But
not
when
skilled and all that.
and MJ didn't play together.
And also, if he's picking Elgin Baylor and Bill Russell and Oscar Robertson and a number of guys, he's going to pick other
But
guys
you
who are
can't
on
just
that
assume
level.
that. You got to go based off of what he said though.
Okay, well then, okay, again, a number of
Again, we don't
guys.
exactly,
A
but we're going to
number of guys.
we don't know. We don't know which
Okay, well,
one
what do you think a number of
was.
guys means? I'm just wondering.
Huh?
What do you think a number
A
of guys
number could
means?
be 1,
No,
2,
I
maybe 2
Oh
or
my
more.
gosh.
all right, we're gonna play games here. All right, yeah, it could be right. You know what?
If
Maybe
you wanna
maybe
go or maybe he meant you know,
he'd be more of a reasonable Michael Jordan fan. But for the record, this has happened to me before. A Michael Jordan fan tells me something that I don't know about, and then it turns out they were wrong. So I've learned over
I got you
time
right now.
not to
In comparison to Universe Galaxy, who is never wrong, right?
I
trust
got you
Michael
right
Jordan
now.
fan.
I got you right now, my boy.
I don't know. All right, well, you do that.
Up like you get wild weird. Never play him the same.
Hold on.
I need to play just so you know before you play the tape.
Yeah.
I need to play I need to play the whole interview, and I need to
It's
find
gonna
out
be context. I'm gonna give you the
what.
context. I'm gonna start from the context.
Send me the link in the email. I don't want to play it right now, man. Let's do the show right
I'll
now.
give
Send me the email.
because I know I don't want you to think I'm lying, but I'll give you the.
No. I'm not. I
Oh
didn't
no,
say
don't
for
play it. Don't
sure.
play it.
I just
Don't play it. I don't want you to play something on my show that might go against what I think.
learned
30
how to take
seconds.
Michael
30
Jordan.
seconds.
Hang on, listen. I've learned over time
I like debates, but don't bring any evidence that doesn't support my position.
not to take Michael Jordan fans' word for things until I because they're wrong lots of times. So I want to research it myself. Send me an email. I'll look it up in the email. If you're right, you're right. It still doesn't change what I said though.
Well, we don't. But the thing is, if we keep adjusting that, we're gonna keep going in circles. All I'm saying is the fact that he mentioned Michael Jordan's name over players like Willis Reed, who's being in the championship.
Okay, again, that's
You know
not
what
the
I'm saying?
only interview in the history of mankind.
I know, but like in every interview, I've watched many interviews with Michael Jordan.
This is why this is a perfect example of why the interview anecdotal story is just a complete snipe hunt.
I can assure you, I can assure you, I probably watched more interviews than you, man.
Oh, Chamberlain. It's debatable.
Bro, we know you've watched more interviews than us because you probably scoured the entire internet to find the ones that go with your opinion compared to everything else.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you probably watch more interviews.
Dude, I
with
got,
Michael Jordan.
dude. I
Wait,
know
wait,
for
wait,
sure than you.
I don't think so. Well,
What else? I play more hours of interview in total than you.
this is not what we're talking about.
Yes.
That's not what we're talking
You
about.
really gonna tell me that you play more tape than me? It's possible, man. But I really
No,
wouldn't bet
okay.
on that.
In terms of Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, that is possible. And even if you have watched or like watched more interviews or watched more
But Aaron,
basketball footage,
if you're saying it's possible that I play more tape, why would I play more tape of other players, but not specifically Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, when you know I
I'm
put
not
a lot of
saying you
tape of
don't. I'm
older
not saying you
players?
don't. I'm not saying you don't. It's that I specifically look for footage of those two players. You know what I'm
So do
saying?
I. No, I specifically look for them too and other people.
And other people. You know what I'm saying? So one could say that since I am so focused on Bill Russell Will Chamberlain that I've had, you know what I'm saying?
No,
You know what
you
I'm
know why?
saying?
You know, I'll tell you the difference. I'll tell you the
One
difference
could say,
because no, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because there's only so much tape
what are we
of Bill
talking
Russell
about?
and Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah,
There's
exactly. What are
only
we
so
fucking
much
talking
tape
about
of Bill
here?
Russell and Wilt Chamberlain available. So whatever you play, I'm probably gonna play.
He's
and
just
vice
trying to
versa,
bean
whatever I
count
play, you're
people's
probably gonna play. But
opinions
the
and act
difference
like
is,
it's a fact.
I know I have access to certain things on tape that you don't have access to. So I know I'm gonna
And
get
vice
more
versa.
certain. I'm gonna get no. There's nothing you have access to that I don't have access to. If
How much your
unless
bet?
it's just something I don't know about. But there are
Exactly.
things that I have. But there are. But no. But what are the again? Now we're going in a circle. Whatever tape you find, I'm gonna know about, or I could know about. Whatever tape I find, you could know about, or you're gonna know about. But the difference is, there's tape that I have access to that I know you don't have access to. There's no tape you have access to that I don't have access to.
Like what? Like what? Like what tape?
Well, I don't want to give people my secrets. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you go, so I can say the same thing. I don't give you my secrets.
No, but I got a page. You know I put stuff on my page that no one
See?
knows
but
about. That. You know.
I have a YouTube page of interviews, therefore it matters more. Oh, okay.
Look,
You're special.
I'm a young guy. I'm a college
No, I'm
student.
not that old either. Just
You
so
know
you
what I'm
know.
saying? You know what I'm saying? I know you probably not that old. You know what I'm saying? Young guy, college student. I got a lot of free time. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with the bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Well, according to the
I
Michael
get
Jordan
home,
fans in the
work
chat
out.
room, I live in my mom's basement, so I got a lot of time too.
Hey. All I'm saying is, it's kind of interesting. You know what I'm saying? Kind of interesting how Will and Bill mention Michael Jordan in their top 6 over players like
Aaron, if you play lots of tape and you got access to tape that other people don't know about, you should be putting that tape on YouTube.
See, like, what the fuck? Like, this, it's just so tedious. Like, why are we bean counting interviews and opinions as if they should have any place in this realm? It's just retarded.
I'm actually trying to make like,
If you're saying you have all this time and you're a college student and you're young and all that, how come you're not putting this tape on YouTube?
cause I just be chilling, you know what I'm saying? Like I be making music, working out, you know.
Well, I do other things too, you know.
Yeah, so it's just like, hey,
Like for example, I stomp on Michael Jordan fans, slap them, make a fool out of them, embarrass them. But I still find time to put tape online.
well, that is your tape. Those are your tapes.
No, I'm talking about the
Those are the
first
sole
page.
purpose of your tape.
No, I'm talking about the first page. The first page.
First page. I see. But look. What I'm
And
saying,
actually, I was talking about both second page and first page, but in actuality, the real thing is the first page because that page is not about Michael Jordan fans.
what I'm saying is, I just think you still okay, just address what I'm saying. Not the fact that they have said other things, but just the fact that they said that in that moment that Michael Jordan was ahead of other guys in their era, and especially the big man. I feel like that's kind of significant. Especially when you have a mind like Bill Russell.
I have to first play the tape and figure out what was going on, what was the context and all that. I've learned over the time not to depend on Michael Jordan fans.
I'll send it right now, and then I'm gonna go eat.
All right, who was interviewing him? You know?
I actually let me see.
It was always
I think it says in the beginning.
Ahmad Rashad.
Yeah, I think so.
I've played those tapes, and in those tapes, he clearly is not putting Michael Jordan to the top like Bill Russell either.
What, bro? Well, he's not putting him to the top, but he mentions them in his top. The thing is, the significant part is that he mentions them in his top.
Yeah, and those interviews are older than the one I told you about.
All right, what's the name of the interview you told me about?
Mine was an ESPN one. Was Chris Myers. That one's more recent.
Chris Myers, Will Chamberlain, or Bill Russell?
It's just Will Chamberlain by himself.
Oh, I've
I
seen
put
that.
some of the,
I've seen
yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, that one's more recent, man.
Is that more recent though? I
Yeah.
don't think it is.
No, it is.
No, that wasn't.
Well,
Because
even if it's not,
that's not more
not, which
recent. It was a
I'm
year
pretty sure,
earlier.
I'm pretty sure it is. But even if it was not, it's still around the same time. Best case scenario, it's around the same time as yours. So obviously he had a different take. I think probably what happened was he just got, sometimes I'm sure you've seen this in interviews. Sometimes people say things, they don't literally mean it. They're just saying it because, like, like when someone goes, "Oh yeah, that guy, man, he was the toughest guy I ever played against, man. He's just a great guy," and all. It doesn't mean he literally thinks he was the toughest and the greatest. He's just saying nice things and give him compliments. But he's
right, but we all know, you know what I'm saying. Wilt was.
Should I try and hop back in?
Wilt was better than Michael Jordan.
Watch. All right, I'm gonna try to hop back in. Let's see what he
we all
says.
know who was a prideful guy. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how prideful he was. I mean, he was.
Hold on.
giving
At this
credit to
point
Bill
in
Russell.
time,
Watch.
Wilt, they was always comparing Michael Jordan to Wilt. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? They were like, "Oh, we feel that, so I have you number 2."
Like I know Michael Jordan.
No, it wasn't that common, man. No.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Bro, what do you mean?
Oh, he blocked me, bro. Look at that. Look at this dude. He's so weak, man. What a fucking god. I mean, not that I care, right? I'm not that I care. I mean, I'm stream sniping him, but it's just so weak. The guy who's like constantly talking shit and come debate me, bro, and then he just blocks people. Come on, man.
Very similar players.
Bro,
that's that. But also, you have to take that
So
for a grain
weak.
of salt because they try to sell every decade, every era. They try to sell like a new.
But they were doing it for a long time, man. There was legit reasons. Kobe was very similar to him. They were like, he's the future. He's Michael Jordan's the past. Look, they're playing against each other and all that.
Exactly, bro. It was the storyline type
But
shit.
they still did it. They still did it, man.
They
So
try to tell a
weak.
story. But the thing is, you're not really addressing the fact that Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Bill Russell too now?
Bill Russell, they both said the same thing. They both had Michael Jordan in their top 6.
All right. Well, I mean,
There you go. He's
when
at
you
least
say not
top 6,
addressing, what do you want me to
guys.
say? That's-
It's been settled, right? I mean, they said he's top 6, so I mean, I guess Jordan's top 6. If you can bring up all these other people who say Jordan isn't the best, well, I mean, I guess if some people say he's top 6, and he's top 6, right? I mean, we got to go by your own logic. Universe Galaxy wouldn't want to contradict himself, would he? Like he accuses everyone else of doing.
That's not the only interview they ever had.
I know, but I'm saying like, what's your take on that? The fact they didn't mean it.
Yeah,
They meant to everybody else.
what I was saying earlier. Sometimes people say things because they're just getting caught up in the moment, saying nice things. They're not really like being like so serious. Like
The guy who posts interviews all day is saying that people change their minds and like sometimes it's not serious. I mean, you gotta have to pick one. You gotta pick a lane and stick to it.
if someone says like, "Hey man, who's your top 5?" and they go, "Oh man, I gotta think."
That's what happened. He was thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, and then when people say things like, "Oh man, he was such a great player" and all that, it's not that they don't mean it, but they're not that serious. Like some people take what they say way too seriously and make it bigger than it really is. Sometimes people are just saying nice things, giving compliments, and maybe they mean it, maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, they're just being like respectful. And then even if you say, "No, dude, you gotta take it seriously." Look, they said it. Look, they said it. I'm gonna play a tape for you. I'm gonna send you an email with a link. At the end
He
of the day,
gets
man, they say
so
other things
mad.
too,
It's
and other
funny.
things.
Yeah. So everything in that interview has to be taken with a grain of salt, essentially.
Not every interview, no. It depends
Oh.
on the interview. There's-
How do you choose?
I'll give you an
Dude, come on, man. This is like trying to reason with a 6th grader or something.
I'll give you an example. Like, let me think of some example. I got to think of some good ones. Like when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was asked, how do you feel when people say Michael Jordan is the greatest? And he says, well, they didn't see Oscar Robertson play, Jerry West play, Elgin Baylor.
He's just being respectful. You know what I'm saying?
He's being very detailed, and you can tell he's 100% serious. Well, another interview, if someone says,
That's subjective though. That's based off of your opinion. You can't just pick and choose which interviews to. You know
okay,
what I'm saying?
well, first of all, it's not. He's being very detailed and
With,
specific. He's not just being
6th
like when
grader or
Kareem said the other day,
something.
"Oh, white people are always counting their money." Remember that interview? Their money. Remember that interview?
I believe so. Yeah,
It doesn't mean he literally says all white people are rich are always counting their money. You get the point?
I get that point, but I'm saying in terms of, like this is completely different context. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like he was like he said, give me your top 5 players. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And again, that's not the only interview that exists.
This is a very. I can say the same thing about. I can say the same thing about. I say, oh, it's a very serious interview.
Why is that? Why is that the golden interview for you? Why is that the magical interview for you?
It's not the golden interview. I'm just saying it's significant. But I'm saying in terms of
why is that the magical interview?
It's not the golden interview. I'm just saying it's significant because the amount of Hall of Fame centers in their own era. You know what I'm saying? They didn't mention over Michael Jordan.
Okay, so then why? Okay, so is it? So is it significant for you when he doesn't put Michael Jordan in the top 5?
I mean, I've never heard him not put Michael Jordan in the top 5.
Well, for all the tape that you played, man, I'm surprised you don't know this.
I've never heard him outright say, "Here are my top 5 players," or "Here are my top 6 players," and Michael Jordan was in the top 6.
He said.
He said, "I think there are a number of players, but that hold on.
Let's not be sarcastic. Let's think context. You guys like context, okay?
Yep.
He's an older guy. Older people think their time was better. They question the 80s and 90s. They think players today are spoiled. They make too much money. They're not as tough and all that.
Okay, well, Will Chamberlain actually said that he thinks that.
Aaron, you got to put it all together. All the pieces put together. You know he's listed other players better than Michael Jordan. And then in the interview, he says something like, I don't have the exact words. He says something like, well, I don't think Michael Jordan was better than Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Bill Russell, Elgin Baylor, and a number of guys. You can't. Well, he didn't say not top 6.
So at the very least, he's top 7. Because the number could be 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Well, why not, man? Why not? Sure, why not?
But I'm saying this. You can like.
I think you
can't just go
meant to say
like
at the very least. I think.
Why is that?
I think you meant to say.
Every
I think you meant to say. Wait. I think you meant to say at the very. It's possible that at the very least he has him top 7 because it's not visible he does.
Yeah, at the what's it called? But look, you're saying how that's my golden interview. Every time I mention this interview, you mention that interview.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, because I'm not going to go by one interview. I'm going to go by the whole thing.
But you're just.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. If you really want to tally up how many people say MJ is the GOAT versus not the GOAT, my stack of papers is going to be 10 times higher than yours. So if you want to go by the overall picture or as many interviews as possible, you're still wrong.
Well, you're going by one interview that supports your claim. That's the thing.
No, there's other. No, I only did that. I only went to this interview because I thought it was more recent. There's other interviews he's had where he's basically explained Michael Jordan wouldn't do as well in the past if he played the way he did. Other players are better than him. I'm better than him. Bill Russell's better than him.
I addressed this too. Like getting into like the nuance of gameplay and styles between the eras is also kind of a snipe hunt. It's kind of a losing proposition. It's really kind of silly, right? Like each player will respectively play, as good as they can or adapt to their time and be the player who they are. It's just to try and go back and like, chip away at this kind of difference or, they're like a little tougher over here because I just kind of think so. And these guys are weaker because, I just kind of think so. Like they're just not very strong arguments,
There also was another interview where he said Michael Jordan was one of those players who could play in any league.
Yeah, I know he did. So then why are you? So put it.
So
together.
like the thing is like we can keep going back and forth.
No, you're right, but there's differences.
No, the thing is I'm trying to point out the significance of the fact that he listed Michael Jordan.
No. What you're doing is you're acknowledging he has different takes, but you want to hone in on the takes that help Michael Jordan.
That's exactly what you do. There's a million fucking basketball takes. Most of them say Jordan is the greatest. You're the one who's quite literally honing in on like the 10% of NBA and players who don't agree with that. You know what I mean? Like you are quite literally the exception and not the rule. So for you to use that argument really holds no weight. Makes no sense for you. Considering what you're doing, it makes no sense for him to make that argument.
No, I'm going to hold on to the fact that he didn't mention.
Yeah, you want to hold in on it? Yes.
Why did he mention Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
What? What's it again?
Why did he not mention Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Well, let me guess. He doesn't think Kareem is that good.
Bro, he didn't think he was a good rebounder or defender.
Okay, well, but things could be different factors. Man, remember they had a fight, they had beef, they had issues. Kareem was calling them out.
They had beef because he didn't think Kareem was a good rebounder or defender. And Kareem got upset.
I don't know all the reasons, but they had issues. And then when things get better, things change. I'll give you an example. Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain didn't talk for a while, and they were kind of pointing the finger at each other. But then when they were cool, now they were giving each other respect. Oh, Wilt Chamberlain was saying, "Well, Bill Russell was the greatest center of all time." Or if I play for
Bill Russell respect. What are you talking about?
You're not getting when they were not talking to each other.
And you know the reason why?
Yeah, you're not listening. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
When Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell were not talking, they weren't complimenting each other the way they were when they were talking. So which one do you want to believe? When they were complimenting each other or not complimenting each other?
well, when they quote unquote weren't copying each other, they also weren't bringing each other down.
No, they were.
When they were complimenting each other, were they saying that each of them was the best ever? No.
They were criticizing each other. They were.
Like when?
Well, I had to go back and get specific, but I remember there were some things like I saw some Red Arm and Bill Russell interview. Huh?
Bill Russell did it to Wilt because Wilt Chamberlain had to sit out because of a knee injury in the finals game, and Bill Russell didn't. He didn't technically talk about what he said. You would have to kill me, take me off that court.
Look, you have to understand the atmosphere. If Wilt Chamberlain is being interviewed and he says, "Okay, who is a greater center between you or Bill Russell?" and he doesn't say straight up, "I'm better. Give me respect." If he doesn't say that, that doesn't mean he doesn't think he's better. But he's saying things like, "Well, if I would have had certain teammates, I think we know what would have happened. And if they would have kept certain statistics, I think we would have more numbers." So he does that. Now, that's when they're not on good terms. Maybe I don't have the exact. I'm just giving you a quick summary. It depends on the interview and the year. But then when there's another interview where they're cool with each other, now he says things like, "Yeah, Bill Russell is the greatest center of all time," and they go, "Better than you?" Yeah,
he still thinks he's better. He still thinks he's better.
Hang on.
There is no way Wilt Chamberlain would ever admit Bill Russell is better than him. There's just absolutely no way that, again, he just said how people are nice and so they say stuff, right? So do you think he really means that? No, definitely not. This is like Jordan once said that like he was scared to play the Rockets, right? Or that the Rockets were like the only team he was worried about. There's some clip like that, right? Do you really think Jordan was scared to play the Rockets? Like, do you really think Jordan thought that the Rockets would beat him or like were better? No, he's doing exactly what Galaxy is saying. Like he's being nice, right? They're not on the court anymore or what have you. So like it's not the same. It's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like a token of appreciation.
And if I would have played with the Boston Celtics, I might have taken away from those guys. I'm not trying to show you that he's flip-flopping. I'm trying to show you there's a difference between talking about someone when you're cool with them versus when you're not cool with them. You're just going straight up, here's what happened, that's it. There's other things you got to put in part of the picture, man.
So you think Wilt Chamberlain was cool with Michael Jordan in 1997?
Now we're talking about Michael Jordan. That's a different topic now.
No, we're talking about the same thing. It's just a different situation. It's the same.
Bill Russell, him.
Yeah, can Universe not follow the logic that we're using an example in one situation and then we're going to use that exact same scenario in another situation? Like, you can't tie the logic together, the fact that we use a scenario with other players to then relate it to Michael Jordan, considering that's the entire topic. Like you honestly can't follow that logic. I mean, come on, man.
Him having issues with Bill Russell is not the same thing as the topic of him and Michael Jordan. There's differences.
No. Him having issues with Bill Russell affecting his answers when people are asking about like Bill Russell's greatness. I
have no idea what he's thinking in his mind and why he's doing it, other than what he tells us. Then I'm just asking you to consider the possibilities, because you're just going straight up, here's the interview and that's it. You're not considering anything else. Then, but then on other topics, you go, well, you want to consider outside factors. You can't have it both ways. Either
that Universe, like that literally applies to you and the way that you go about your articles and opinions and interviews.
Honestly, UG bro, I'm not gonna lie, that's what you doing, bro.
Exactly.
You're doing the same thing, basically.
Exactly.
You're not getting me. I'm not doing that. I'm saying if you're gonna go by outside factors on some interview or some interviews, you gotta be. If you want to be fair and consistent, you gotta do this with some other interview or some other interviews. If you're not, then be consistent and never do it. You can't have it both.
First of all, you don't have to do anything. If you use outside factors on a particular interview because they apply, then apply them. If there's another interview where there's no outside factors, or you think he was being honest, then you don't apply them. This is also something I wanted to bring up that Galaxy does, is he likes to use kind of like what I called the false binary dichotomy. So as an example, right, I bring up that Jordan has 6 rings. So what he'll do is he'll go the total opposite way, right? Thinking that he's logically making a point, but he's not. So he'll say, well, if Jordan was the best because he won those 6 rings, does that mean he was a loser when he didn't win those 6 rings, right? He's kind of taking the total opposite stance to try and make it seem as if your logic is invalid. But it's not true. It doesn't work. It doesn't play out. We're talking about people who have won, right? We're talking about what they have accomplished and achieved. So my rebuttal to that, or another example that I would give in reply to that, is Steph Curry. We all agree Steph Curry is a great, if not the greatest shooter that's ever played, especially beyond the three-point line, right? Steph Curry comes down, hits a 3. Bam. Great shooter. Steph Curry comes down and misses a 3. Is he now a bad shooter? No, he's not. We judge Curry based on what he's done. What has he achieved relative to everyone else? What is his averages or his statistics compared to everyone else? For him to use that argument for for, let's say I go with him, right? So if you lose, right, you're a loser. This would put a million times more weight on championships if he really felt like that, right? If you're a total complete loser, if you don't win a ring in his rebuttal, then that means if you do win a ring, that means you must be the best, right? If you're going to use that argument. Well, Jordan won 6 of them, so I mean that automatically puts him in the top 5 or 10 or what have you if you want to go that route. It doesn't plan out. His logic, this is one of those guys who he thinks he's a lot smarter than what he really is. So like, again, with the whole Jordan and rings, he thinks he's smart because he will say something like, well, I guess when Jordan didn't win rings, he was a loser then, or he wasn't the best. You know, it doesn't plan out. It doesn't work out that way.
Both ways then.
So look, so I'm gonna do your example with Kareem.
Right.
So Kareem said Oscar Robertson was scary. They said that people who say Michael Jordan was the greatest, they haven't seen Oscar. Well, Kareem only said that, you know what I'm saying, because he played with Oscar, he respects his time more, you know what I'm saying. Oscar had it, you know what I'm saying. Oscar played during his time.
This will be interesting to see how he replies.
NBA got soft. I can say all those things, or because you said yourself that older players think that their time was better than the current product. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like, when I consider the outside factors and the fact that he's an older player and that he might have some bias towards his generation, then you can't take that seriously. And I can just step right here.
When have I ever told you on any of my pages that anything a person says must mean they're right and everyone else who disagrees is wrong? In fact, when Michael,
that's all you do. All you do is call people scumbags and fanboys if they disagree with you.
Jordan fans tell me about how supposedly most Hall of Famers pick Michael Jordan. How many times have I accepted that? I'll even say, even if you believe that's true, it doesn't make them right.
No? So why?
So then all of your videos are pointless.
So why? I don't just like, bro. So why would they choose them in that moment? Bill Russell.
The reason you don't understand is it's the Michael Jordan fan.
Can we just think about this? Bill Russell is low-key a genius. Why would he mention Michael Jordan's name in the same breath as a Bob Pettit or Oscar Robertson if he didn't think? Because you question if he's even in the top 100. But Russell,
I got no proof that he is. You know what I'm saying?
But Russell thinks.
Yeah. See, this is like, there is just no objective way with any reason or logic that Jordan, let's just take what he literally just said, Jordan's not top 100, right? I mean, really, like, you know, I'm doing this for fun, obviously, but like, if you were anyone serious, or like if he was in a public setting or anything like that, nobody would take this man seriously. Everyone would walk away. No one would engage with him, right? If he went around and said that. Now, obviously, we're on the internet and YouTube and stuff. It's a little different, but you know, to think that Jordan isn't even top 100, I mean, you're really exposing yourself in terms of just how completely off the reservation you are.
The same level as Bob Pettit. He's in the same breath as Oscar Robertson. You know what I'm saying?
No, what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that's pretty significant considering the fact that Russell played against Willis Reed, Nate Thurman.
All right, we're gonna play this game. We're gonna play this game. No problem. Do you think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a low-key genius also?
Right. Bill Russell, nah. Well, Bill Russell's a genius.
So we're gonna have our own definition of low-key genius. Okay, that's fine. A lot of people think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a low-key genius.
This is so dumb. Like, they're just talking about people's opinions.
Alex English questionable for not being top. Okay, he's a better leader.
Okay.
You want another one?
Yep.
He's a better team.
Oh, here we go. What's he got?
Cut off. Is it okay if I don't put Michael Jordan as a #1 guy?
Yes.
Is it okay if I don't put him top 6?
Yes, we've been through this already.
Is it okay?
This is not really. This is also something he does. He sidesteps what he's doing. Like, he is making the claim that Jordan is not the GOAT, right? Which means that there has to be a GOAT for that statement to even be true. And then this is what he does. Then he gets into this like, oh, well, I just don't have him #1, or like, oh, we just don't know. You know, you cannot make the definitive claim of there being a GOAT or not and then say there is no GOAT. You know, you're contradicting yourself. I'm trying to think of what's the word for it. Man, it's escaping me right now. But essentially, it's like a God damn it, it's losing me right now. But I'll come back to it. But essentially, you're making a claim, right? You're making a definitive claim, and then in the next breath, saying that the claim you just made has no basis in the first place, right? How can you say there's a GOAT or not, and then say, well, there is no GOAT? Or, I mean, how can you say someone is a GOAT or not, and then also at the same time say, well, there's not a GOAT at all? Do you understand? If you want to take the position that there's no GOAT, that's fine. But you are specifically saying, right? You are specifically saying Jordan is not the GOAT. Therefore, someone must be the GOAT in his place. If you were to not mention Jordan's name and you were just to simply say, I don't think there's a GOAT, then that's fine.
I don't think we did, but let's just make sure then. Is it okay if he's not top 11?
Yep.
Is it okay if he's not top 20?
Sure.
Is it okay if he's not top 49?
I don't know.
Okay, so there's a cutoff between 20 and 49. Okay, so
He can be wherever you rank him. It's your own opinion. Like this is also that thing where someone like a Jordan fan will give his opinion. Like he'll say, I think Jordan is the best, or Jordan is the best in my opinion. And Tug will take that as if he's saying it is a absolute fact, right? It's obviously his opinion. And so he tries to like pin his opponents on that, and the fact that, well, what you said is a fact. You know, you can't make objective claims about your own opinion. Yeah, I know, but that's what you do too, and you still claim everything is a fact and that you're right. So
go one at a time. If you can understand why he's not top 20, then how about 21? How about 22? How about 23? How about 28? There's always going to be someone until you get to like, I don't know what number, maybe 1,000. At some point, you're going to put Michael Jordan. Sure, I'm joking.
Well, but Jerry West is top 100.
Yeah, he's top 100. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. It makes
I
no
know.
sense.
I know why you say that, but Jerry West brought more to the table than Michael Jordan.
That literally makes no sense.
He played in a tougher time.
That makes no sense.
again, how do you quantify and qualify a tougher era, a tougher time? Please explain that to me. Like, what makes them so much tougher?
It does. You want me to say what Jerry West brings?
He also played on the Lakers, which were stacked to the gills when they didn't have a salary cap. And he played with like 7 other Hall of Famers and only got like 2 rings. Come on, man.
Brings more to the table?
You should go ahead.
Okay, he's a better leader.
Okay.
Again, based on what? Michael Jordan won. That is ultimately what you want in a leader. You have to get to the finish line. You have to get to the end goal. There is a flag on top of the hill. Your job as a leader is to go grab that flag first. Jordan did that more than West ever did, hands down.
Okay.
You want another one?
He may not like Jordan's style of leadership. Doesn't matter. A leader is a leader. A winner is a winner. Accomplishment is an accomplishment. You cannot tell me that Jerry West is a better leader when he doesn't lead his team as well or as often or as good as Jordan did.
Yep.
He's a better team player. You want another one?
Yep.
Again, he says he's a better team player. Why? Just because he has more assists? I mean, that if you were to break it down, that would literally be his reasoning as to why West is a better team player, is simply just because he has more assists. That doesn't make you a better team player. I mean, your team could need you need to score a bucket to win, right? I mean, who's the team going to look to in that situation to get them 1 bucket? Jerry West or Michael Jordan? They would give it to Michael Jordan. I mean, to think that assisting is the only way you can measure a team player, right, just makes absolutely zero sense. I would even almost say that being a better defender, right, being an all-time great defender or a really good defender probably makes you more of a team player than someone who has like 8 or 9 assists per year, right? In my opinion, right? You're playing and buying more into the team concept on defense, which to me is more of a team like a team-oriented thing than just like a pick and roll or driving to the bucket and kicking. You know, Jordan was much better on the defensive end for his team. He was much better on the offensive end for his team. It's just to say that Jerry West is a better team player. By what standard? He didn't win as much with his teams. He didn't lead his teams as much or win as much. He didn't accomplish as much for his teams. It's just silly to say that West is a better team leader. There's literally no reason for that other than just, I guess, they're putting that much weight on assist, that if you get assists to distribute to your team, that's like the ultimate sign of being a team player. I completely disagree. I mean, there's some truth to it, right? There's some truth that if you're setting up your teammates and whatnot, that's good, but you're playing within the offense of your entire team, right? Just because you're the point guard who dribbles, has the ball in his hand most of the time, and distributes and gets assists, that doesn't really like necessarily make you a good team player. I mean, it's an aspect of it, but to just put all the weight on assist and say that Jerry West was a better team player because of it holds no weight. Makes no sense.
Okay. I can't prove this to you, but
you can't prove he's a better leader either.
I think he's better at clutch. They called him Mr.
Why did they call West Mr. Clutch? He made like 2 clutch shots. He hit a bunch of like meaningless clutch shots before that. Jordan, I believe, has the most game winners of any player. I believe he has like the best or the most either shooting percentage or rating under 2 minutes. You know, I just, again, why is West Mr. Clutch? A nickname doesn't really mean anything to me.
Mr. Clutch for a reason, man. You want another one?
I think he went to the finals 8 times before he won. Yeah, really clutch there, going 8 times and never winning.
That doesn't count, but okay.
Why can't we count that? If people think he's a better clutch player, can't we count that?
I mean, you can count the same thing for.
People call Jordan the GOAT, right? So I guess he's the GOAT. That's it. People call him the GOAT, guys. People call Jordan the GOAT, so he's the GOAT. Nicknames. Universe Galaxy has now resorted to using nicknames to make his point. If someone has a cool nickname, I guess then that's truly how good they were.
There's people who think Michael Jordan's a better leader, and people who think Michael Jordan's a better player.
Yeah, but those are Michael Jordan fans.
I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I think he's a better leader. He won more. I mean, the whole thing about leading is to win. He won more. Full stop. That's it.
And they outnumber us. They
do, but popular doesn't equal factual. That the number of more people thinking stupid things doesn't mean it's true. If more people think
popular does not equal factual, I don't think anyone's making that claim. I mean, this is where he tries to lose you in the weeds on opinion versus fact, right? Like if we're all giving obviously what are our opinions, right? We're not saying it's fact. And if there's an overwhelming majority, it still doesn't make it fact. But again, like I said in my video, if we have to decide, if we have to pick a GOAT, we have to start looking at factors and statistics and situations. If we have to pick them, we have to start breaking these things down. And whenever people break it down and everyone's coming to the same conclusion based on certain criteria, right? People think Jordan is the GOAT largely because he won the most. He was the best scorer of all time. You know, people have reasons for why they think Jordan is the best, not just because they're fanboys. There's certain criteria that Jordan accomplished that most people put a lot of weight into that make him the GOAT.
think the earth is flat, it don't make the earth flat.
Bro, stop, bro. What, bro? I'm not.
Yeah, he always brings up these like hypotheticals and analogies, like the Trump thing earlier. It's just like you're deflecting, like you're trying to like squirm out of the topic by bringing up some completely irrelevant issue that you think relates, but it doesn't. Again, that's like the total dichotomy part. He thinks that he's really smart by just going the total opposite way whenever you make a point, right? He thinks it's like really big brained and deep. It's not. It makes you look childish, and you'd only look smart to people who have a room temperature IQ.
Oh, do you think the earth is flat? Is that what it is?
Hold on. Why do you that's just I feel like it's just an extreme example.
Before we continue, just real quick, I didn't mean to.
I know, but like, hold on.
I didn't mean to bring up. Kendrick's B Squad has donated $5. Kendrick's B Squad, are you still there? I want to make sure you know that I'm thanking you. Kendrick B Squad has donated $5. Once again, Kendrick's B Squad has donated $5. Thank you very much. And he wrote my 3 all-time starting 5 and bench wins. I don't know if you were anything after that. Zero came a little while ago, I know too. Welcome, Zero. We have a member here. We have another member here. Thanks. Lucas, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, welcome.
See, this is what he does. He's got his little boys now, and he's having trouble with this guy, right? Because they're kind of at a stalemate in terms of like, well, your opinion doesn't equal fact, and your opinion doesn't equal fact, right? And they're kind of going around and around. I think he's doing okay. He's holding his own. But like, oh man, he's got his little friend waiting in the wings. He's got to bring him on to dogpile him. You'll never see him have more MJ fans on than non-MJ fans. He'll never do that. He'll always make sure that's stacked to his side.
Back to the program. Oh, go ahead, Aaron British. You were going to make some points. Go ahead.
No, you were listening how all the ways that Jerry West was better than Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, no, but weren't you disagreeing with something?
Yeah, I was saying, you're saying that the majority of people, just because the majority or the popular choice doesn't mean it's factual.
Isn't it like the 3 things he said about West are completely subjective? Better team leader, not true. Your opinion. There's really no way to objectively figure that out. I mean, I would say winning would be the best player leading their team to wins and championships, in my opinion, would be the best litmus for being a team leader. And then he said, or a leader in general. And then he said Jerry West is a better team player. Again, why? Just because he drops more dimes doesn't make you a better team player. And then the last one was that he's called Mr. Clutch, guys. He's called Mr. Clutch. Don't you get it, guys? He's called Mr. Clutch. Those are his big 3 things about why Jerry West is better. No statistics, no awards, no relative achievements, no trophies, nothing like that. Just he's like a good team leader, I think. It's weak sauce, man.
Sure. I'm saying the unpopular choice doesn't mean it's factual. Like just because you're going against the green doesn't mean like it's factual, whatever.
That's true. That's true. But I wasn't making that case. You were telling me that more people pick him and all that.
No,
So
no,
you're
no.
making the case.
I was saying there are plenty of people who disagree with you. I'm just saying like
Yeah, the Michael Jordan lovers.
yeah, but these are things that are intangible that you really like.
They're
these are
Michael Michael Jordan lovers. Why are we
yeah,
supposed to-
and
So, does Universe Galaxy think that the vast majority of basketball fans are simply Jordan fanboys? Is that really what his take is? That the reason why the reason why most people pick Jordan is because he somehow brainwashed them or something? You know, like it just makes it makes no sense. It's a complete projection. It's a reach.
then you have people like Michael Jordan non-lovers or haters, for lack of better words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on.
But I'm not calling you that. But you are very biased against Michael Jordan.
No, come on.
Yes,
man.
you are. Yes, you are.
No,
I think that's pretty obvious. That's
no,
pretty
it's not. I'm not biased against Michael Jordan. No, you're
bro,
right.
you're definitely biased against Michael Jordan fans, for sure.
No, I'm not biased against
Yes,
him.
you
No,
are.
no,
Bro,
they're
it's
scumbags,
your
man. What
title.
do you
Michael Jordan
mean?
fans are the worst
They're
NBA
they're
fans.
douchebags. They're idiots. They're morons. I'm
So is that not a
biased against them.
bias?
No.
Yes, it is, bro. Bro,
Bias
yes,
is
it
like something like I'll give you like no, I'll give you some bias is like okay, hey, okay, we got a bottle of orange Gatorade and a bottle of blue Gatorade. I don't know, I don't like Gatorade, so I'm gonna buy Powerade. That's bias. But when you point out that the Gatorade looks like a bottle of piss, that's not bias. You just point
bro.
something out.
You have like a prejudice against Michael Jordan fans.
I mean, you saying it looked like a bottle of piss would technically still be an opinion. You know, someone else might not think it looks like a bottle of piss. That's not like an objective statement, you know?
Like
No, I
you're
disagree.
predisposed.
I'm telling you.
You're predisposed to thinking that they're
Well, based
idiots. Based off of previous events, yeah. But still, you
the
have a
facts,
bias.
the logic, the reason, the common sense.
You have
That's
a
not
bias.
bias, man. No, it's not a bias.
This is the other thing, like Universe Galaxy a lot of times likes to claim he owns like logic and reasoning, right? Everything I say is logical and well within reason, and then anyone who disagrees is just illogical and unreasonable, right? For anyone claiming a monopoly on those things, like they're not really here to debate. They're here because they just want to feel good about themselves, put you down, and they think it makes them look smart, you know? Oh, I own the Jordan fans, right? Like he's not really here for an honest debate.
Bias, man. No, I don't have a bias against them. I just know about them. I know the facts, the logic, the reason, and common sense about why they are the worst NBA fans, the worst sports fans, and the worst sports fans in the history of mankind.
Okay,
I mean, I'm biased against them.
continue to listen to the reason.
I think I might be wrong, but this is the only person, and maybe his 2 or 3 members, or his the 7 people watching, which one of them is me, so 6 people watching. You know, like this is the only corner of people that I've seen hate Michael Jordan this much and think that everyone else is a Jordan fanboy. Like they're the only ones making these claims. I don't know, like where else they're getting this like opinion from that Michael Jordan fans are the worst fans in history. Why? Just because you set up a stream and challenged, you're quite literally challenging Michael Jordan fans essentially directly, just about, and then you say people who call in are Michael Jordan fanboys. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like you're getting what you want, and then you're insulting the product that you're getting. You know, like this is what you wanted. You challenged them. Stop fucking ducking and deflecting, and then just address what they say.
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, actually, I'd like to know, Lukash. I really want to know what you think. I'm not gonna. If you agree, fine. If you disagree, fine. Do you think I'm biased against Michael Jordan fans?
I think you're wrong about the worst sports fans in the history of mankind.
Cut out.
I think
You think that's okay? Okay, what's another?
I think you're wrong about the worst sports fans in the history of mankind.
Okay, but do you think I'm biased against them?
No.
How the fuck would he not be biased against Jordan fans? He constantly insults them, mocks them, calls them dumb scumbags. You heard earlier he was calling someone, he's insulting someone's wife. You know, he literally does nothing but insult and mock these people and call them scum of the earth. And then he's like, I'm not biased though. You're not fooling anyone, man.
Okay, all right.
That doesn't even track. That doesn't even
It's
track.
not biased.
That doesn't track.
Okay, wait.
Doesn't track at all.
Aaron, what's your definition of bias? What do you mean by bias?
I might be using it wrong. By the way,
Lukash, out of
Bias just means you are of a certain persuasion or leaning, right? Like you think Michael Jordan fans are the worst. You're biased against them. It's not necessarily that like you're wrong or anything. It's just is what it is. You don't have to like hide from it.
you know, I know you're.
But again, it's one of those guys where like he in his mind thinks that if he admits he's biased, that it'll take away from his arguments, right? That like Universe Galaxy literally thinks he is incapable of being subjective or biased or wrong or immorally deficient. He literally thinks this. That's what I'm saying. He thinks he owns facts and reason and logic. Pretty narcissistic in all honesty.
You're not new here, but I think you started coming here like April of last year or so. But so by now, I'm pretty sure you have a lot of information about them. You don't think Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans in the history of mankind?
No, I think they're obviously not.
I mean, if he's making a generalization like that,
Obviously,
he's biased, right?
I'm not biased.
I don't understand. Maybe I'm
I
not using the word right.
thought you just said you maybe had a different definition or something. Now you're going back to bias.
I
again.
might.
Oh no, I can give you two different groups of sports fans that are worse.
All right, I'll go ahead. I'm open-minded. Go ahead.
Okay, here's one group of sports fans. There were sports fans of the chariot races in the Roman Colosseums that were insane people that formed gangs that controlled the city of Rome that were horrible, and they were like the worst version of soccer hooligans you could ever imagine that would perform like organized crime in the city and fuck each other up.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude. This guy loves to nerd out like he's smart. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Those are worse fans. Okay. Those are worse sports fans. There are other worse sports fans.
I think that's called mobsters or the mafia. I don't think those are sports fans.
Okay, so so this reminds me of like when people
That's a cartel.
tell me that soccer fans are worse. Like they'll tell me how soccer fans murder and they'll beat people up and torture and all that. The reason I don't say that, the reason I'm not comparing them, I don't consider them sports fans. I just consider them horrible people. Like I'm not going to compare sports fans to them.
Sports fans in Rome were literal giant criminal groups.
No, I believe you. I believe you. But I'm not going to lump them in with sports
That means they've gone from sports fans to something else.
fans. These are like gangs and people doing it for the money and doing horrible things and all that. Like I want.
Oh yeah, because they were gambling on the chariot races.
Right, sure. So when I go over sports fans, I'm talking about the people who don't murder and beat people up and torture and all that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was just putting that out there. There are some sports fans. No, of course, there's the mind sports.
If we go by these things, soccer fans can be worse than Michael Jordan fans. I totally get that. But when it comes to people who are just straight up sports fans, just sports, would you agree that Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans in the history of mankind?
Oh yeah.
Okay, there you go. I feel better. All right, great. I was like, oh man, Luke Cash disagrees. I was surprised, but no problem. At least now he agrees. All right, cool.
Yeah, right. It'd be a sin if one of his followers disagreed with him, right? Oh man, Universe Galaxy would have a meltdown.
All right, go ahead, Aaron Bridges.
There's worse sports fans out there. Just putting it out there.
Oh, say it again.
I'm just putting it out there. There were definitely worse sports fans.
Just do Luke Cash, man.
Yeah, they're definitely more insane people. But I think he would be a
better pickpocket.
I forgot about that. Yes, I think he's better at pickpocket. I think he's to some other people out there who like whatever, like some other player or some other sport.
All right, name every way Dre was better than Michael Jordan.
All right, everywhere here. All right, let's see here. Okay, so let's.
There are so many.
Just going by what's better, not how. Yeah, not just how he's the same, how he's better. So I think he's a better leader. I think he's a better team player. I think he's a better clutch player. Let's see here. I think he would be a
better pickpocket.
All of those things are just opinions, man. Like I don't understand how I don't understand how you can with a straight face say that and think that's some kind of like dunk or some kind of good point. I think he's a better team leader. I have no statistics or reasoning to back it up, but he's a better team leader. All right, let's look at these steals. They're about to say he's a better pickpocketer. Oh, they didn't. Oh. Well, they didn't track steals for him. Hang on one second. Give me 1 minute. Just curious here. Yeah, so it looks like West quite literally barely beats him out on steals. Let's look at their total. Points, obviously Jordan is better. Blocks, obviously Jordan is better. Same in player fouls. They don't have turnovers for West. I would like to see that from him considering he's a point guard. Jordan better in blocks. Jordan averaged 1 less assist. He averaged 1 more rebound. Jordan had a better free throw percentage. Jordan had a better field goal percentage, efficiency field goal percentage, 2-point field goal percentage. They don't have West's 3 points. Again, Michael Jordan's way overhated for his 3-point shooting by these guys. Jordan better field goal percentage. Yeah, I mean, West barely beats him in steals, like barely. We're talking about 0.3 difference for their career. That might have only been measured for 1 year, though. So let's say he averaged 3 steals a game, which would be pretty crazy. Jordan still is only a half a steal behind him. So, again, for him being such a better pickpocketer, I'm not too impressed considering Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year and 9-time All-First defensive teams and was clearly a much better defender than Jerry West was, especially for his position.
Pocket.
I forgot about that. Yes, I think he's better at
He's a better pickpocket.
Yes.
They have the statistics for just, what is it, like 2 or 3 seasons at the end of his career?
They only had his last year with steals, and in his last year, old man Jerry West, who was injured, had 2.6 steals. Now, how good was he when he was younger? Bill Russell said in a game, I think it was the All-Star game, he's
I heard that.
if Jerry West wanted to, he could have gotten 10 steals a game, and in that same game, he was getting steals.
I hate this argument when people are like, if they wanted to, if they had tried, like, it's a very weak argument. As if like Jerry West is in the NBA and he's like, I could steal it 10 times a game, but I'm just not going to.
And right after he said that,
like 11 steals.
Jerry West pickpocketed someone, and then he made a game-winning shot later on too. I think Jerry West also was more versatile. He could play different positions more than Michael Jordan. I also think
absolutely not, dude. Jordan probably could have played 1 through 3. West maybe 1 and 2.
he was a better point guard. He was a little bit better at bringing the ball up and being a point guard. He would get you some more assists too. I think one year he averaged like 9.9 assists, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. 9 assists, something like that. And then of course, last but not least, this is to make him better, but it shows you how he was better. He played in a tougher time. So when you put it all
again, that's all opinion. Like, so here we go. Here's what we can break down the Michael Jordan, Jerry West argument to. Jerry West averaged a half a steal more and 1 more assist. And then Jordan literally beats him everywhere else across the board and did way better taking his team to finals with less help and 1 more. Has clearly been a better individual player if we just look at what they've achieved. Again, these guys are boiling everything down as to why West is better than Jordan based upon 1 more assist and a half more steal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, these are the little exceptions, not the rule. These are the little exceptions they use to try and needle you to death about why people are better than Jordan. I brought this up in my video too. It's very possible that there are players who do 1 or 2 things better than Jordan or are better on the all-time rankings. But if you take the totality of everything, there's just absolutely no way you could ever say Jerry West is in the same realm with Michael Jordan. Jerry West was 6'3", 175. Michael Jordan was 6'6", 195. I mean, think about how much more athletic Michael Jordan was and how much better he was on the defensive end. I mean, it's really like, it's quite mind-boggling how they pick these like 1 or 2 off stats and then put all their weight into them just to try and make them seem as if they're better than Jordan, right? It's quite crazy. Now, if you were to bring up how Jordan's better at scoring, though, they would say, "Oh, that doesn't matter. Steals and assists matter more. The half more assist he got matters more."
together, they're not that far away, but Jerry West was a better player than Michael Jordan.
So, but the fact that, so even though they're not that far away, Jerry West is still in the top 100 and Michael Jordan is not?
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, if Jerry West is not that far away, how can he be top 100 with Michael Jordan not? Good point. But I'll tell you how. Most Hall of Famers, Aaron Bridges, they're not that far away from each other. Like, most Hall of Famers are on the same level. They're in the Hall
Here
of
we
Fame.
go.
Like,
The run around again.
Is not as good as Will Chamberlain. We know this. But Will Chamberlain is not like way better than Hakeem.
Well, Jordan's a Hall of Famer, right? I mean, so he's got to be pretty close with everyone else, right? Right, Tug? He's got to be pretty close with everyone else. No. Jordan's not even top 100 or 200. Okay.
Hakeem Olajuwon. He's a better player, but he's not that far away. But you can understand why Will Chamberlain would be ranked number 1 and Hakeem Olajuwon would be ranked number 20, right?
Why would Wilt Chamberlain be ranked number 1? According to you, it's just because he has a bunch of redundant and repetitive scoring and rebounding records. Again, if you could ask any player or person, coach, manager, a team, an individual, etc., if you could just take a massive poll of anyone who's got any sort of knowledge on basketball or just sports in general, and you were to tell them, would you like to have a bunch of records? Okay, how about this? Would you like to have the most records ever in a sport but only get 2 rings? Or would you like to maybe have a few less records, right? It's still a lot of records for Jordan. I was looking at the records between Chamberlain and Jordan. It's pretty close, especially depending on the kind of records you want to count, right? So, like, if we were going to start counting, like, the youngest to do something, right, that puts Jordan essentially on par with Wilt in a lot of ways. Not just mentioning the records they hold respectively overall, right? And again, if you think about it, like, Wilt's biggest thing was scoring, or one of his big things was scoring, and Jordan was better than him at that. So, you know, it's just anyways, back to my point, if you could ask people, would you rather have the most records ever by a little bit, or 2 rings, or would you rather have 6 rings and still have a lot of records? 99% of people would take those 6 rings with the other records. I have no doubt in my mind about that. The only reason he picks Wilt Chamberlain is because he has a bunch of repetitive, redundant records on scoring and rebounding. And again, those records would mean a lot more if he did something with them, if he won with them. Again, we all play to win the game. That's why, back to what I was saying, if you could ask people what they would want, people want the trophies. People want to be crowned champion. Your records eventually will get broken. It's just how it is. Your championships last forever. No one's going to take a championship away from you. If you win it, you win it. It's yours. People want the rings. That's why we play. That's why we're here. Go back and ask Jerry West. If you could win more rings, or maybe bump your points per game up a little bit, which one would you take? There's no doubt in my mind Jerry West wants the rings.
Yep.
So there you go. So I can ask the same question to you. If Wilt Chamberlain's better, how is Wilt Chamberlain number 1?
Huh?
All right. Anyway,
You keep
so
cutting
Luke
out.
Cash, if you want to go over something, go ahead, man.
Your audio is cutting in and out a little bit, Galaxy.
Hello?
Your audio is cutting in and out a little bit, Galaxy. I think that's why Aaron Bridges was confused.
He can't hear you either.
All right. Is that it? You guys got anything else? Is that it?
Oh, is my audio enough?
Okay, you guys, yeah, there you are. If you guys want to go over something, go ahead, guys. It's all quiet.
Can you guys hear it? You guys hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because your audio was cutting out and our audio was cutting out.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on, but how about now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
But
Have you guys seen the interview that Bill Russell gave on the Dick Cavett show?
More interviews, guys.
Yeah, I saw that. He was dressed nicely, too.
Yes, and have you seen him on many of those 70s talk shows like that?
I haven't seen a lot of those interviews. I saw the one on Dick Cavett. Was he on once on Dick Cavett or more than once?
He was on more than once on the Dick Cavett show, and I think he went on Bob Hope's show.
Okay, if he was on once with Dick Cavett, I saw that one. The Bob Hope one, I didn't see that.
Maybe he was on the Johnny Carson show?
I don't think I saw that either.
But he was actually on a few different talk shows. I was wondering because I was wondering if you had seen all of those. I could email you some of those.
Oh, thank you. I haven't, because my page got deleted past.
What the heck? I've never seen those.
Since I played that were on before. Some are new, but some
Had seen all of those. I could email you some of those.
Oh, thank you. I haven't, because my page got deleted, I'm basically putting back up a lot of videos that were on before. Some are new, but most of them are pretty much the same ones I put
His
up. Page
got
got
deleted?
Up, then I'm gonna start putting like more newer ones, So I would have probably at some point got some more Bill Russell interviews. Bill Russell also hosted some show. I don't know what show it was. He hosted some show as a host.
Yeah, where the heck? I've never seen those. I've never seen that either, and I was wondering where the heck you could find that.
Nah, his page didn't get deleted. Must be talking about
I'm not
something
gonna lie,
else.
UG. Yeah, that still makes no sense to me. I like because I can name other intangibles that Michael Jordan has over Jerry West. You know what I'm saying?
Like what? Like what? Like no, I'd like to know. Like what?
I can say he's more athletic. I can say he's more clutch. You know what I'm saying?
How do you know? How do you know he's more athletic? How do you know? How do you know he's more athletic? How do you know?
Yeah, I think he's more athletic.
How do you know?
Have you seen Jerry West finish?
Jerry West
Jerry West leaping over 3 different men all the freaking time? Have you seen him leaping over 2?
When was this? I want to see that.
Yeah,
all
Jerry
the
West.
time. Like, have you not seen that Jerry West tape? This dude played man.
Jerry West was a great athlete.
Jerry West.
This is what I mean. Like there's no doubt in anyone's mind that Jordan's a better athlete than Jerry West, but they have to argue the point. They cannot cede any objective ground, right? Oh, well, Jerry West fucking dunked on two Wilt Chamberlains. You didn't know that?
I had an interview that when he was in the NBA, that he could, I don't have the exact words, but he said something like he could pretty much jump over over everybody or higher than everybody, and he said.
So far, Jerry West, if he wanted, could have got 10 steals a game, but he averaged 2.5 to 3, at least from what we can tell, or a rough estimate. He also could have just jumped over everybody, I guess, if he wanted to, but he was just so respectable, right, to the game, right? He decided not to. Come on, bro.
He was like ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't understand that term ahead of
Well,
his time.
he was one of the best finishers at the rim. So what does Jordan have that he doesn't have? That
But Jordan is still.
Are we about to compare finishing at the rim between Jerry West and Michael Jordan? Is this guy for real? This guy wants to compare finishing at the rim between Jerry West and Michael Jordan. I've heard it all.
more athletic than Jerry West.
Jerry West.
I'm about to answer the question.
Did you guys know this? A lot of people don't know this. Michael Jordan. Oh, there's two things people don't know. John Sally said that Michael Jordan's favorite player was Jerry West. And another thing, in a Michael Jordan interview, he gave his top 5. I found, people always say how he said Magic, Pippen, Worthy, himself, and Hakeem. I found another one. I don't know if they got it wrong or what the fuck happened, but in his other starting 5, he had the same thing pretty much: him, Magic, Pippen, Hakeem, and instead of Worthy, he had Bird. But here's another key thing: in that starting 5, he said, and the 6th guy I would have off the bench is Jerry West. Depends on what your definition of athletic, man.
Yeah, totally.
The highest minutes per game.
Say it again.
Jerry West has some of the highest minutes per game, and his career average minutes per game are better than Michael Jordan.
Oh, look, everybody! Hey, look, guys! Hey, look! We got a great point in the chat room, guys. Look at this!
Minutes per. Does you say minutes per point or minutes per
This
game?
is a great point that's going to prove all you. Depends on what your definition of athletic, man.
Yeah, totally.
I just said it. The highest minutes per game.
Say it again.
Jerry West has some of the highest minutes per game, and his career average minutes per game are better than Michael
Man,
Jordan.
Oh, look,
they're
everybody! Hey,
reaching
look, guys! Hey,
so
look!
bad,
We got a
dude.
great point in the chat room, guys. Look at this! This is a great point that's going to prove all you.
Like when it comes to Jerry West, I'll give you the steals and I'll give you the assist, right? Even though Jordan's 3rd all-time steals, 2nd all-time average, something like that. So I mean, even for me to give you the steals argument would have to be very generous. First of all, I would, looking at where Jordan stands all-time on steals, I would say the steals are probably a wash. Also considering that Jordan was probably a much better overall defender, just given his athleticism and speed and quickness and abilities, and the fact that he won a Defensive Player of the Year award and has been on 9-time all defensive teams, and West has only been on 5. I would say Jordan's a better defender, even if I give you the slight edge in steals. I'll give you the steals argument. And then the assist, I mean, I'll give you the assist, but again, the steals and the assists are so trivial. They're so small in the term that Jerry West was better than Jordan in terms of those two things. And again, we're talking about a guy who was much more ball dominant in terms of the first pass or bringing the ball up the floor than Jordan was. It's very, again, they're using the exceptions to try and hammer down the rule. That's not how it works. West is barely better in these two categories, and Jordan quite literally beats him in almost every other major relative important statistic. Almost every single one. His accomplishments are more, his averages are better. And so this is what I mean when they bring up these little tiny things to try and needle Michael Jordan. You being better at one or two things doesn't make you better overall.
Fool's wrong. ESPN is still calling MJ the best across all sports. Wow, what a great point that is. Sure proved all of us wrong.
Wait, that's not my point though. That's just my point though. MJ is a better athlete, in my opinion, than Jerry West. I think if Jerry West,
there's no doubt.
I think if Jerry West came up in the time with the medical advancements, technological advancements that Michael Jordan had access to, then they would be more comparable. But Michael Jordan is first of all, Jerry West in his prime could touch 16 inches above the rim. You know what I'm saying?
By what measure? Jerry West had more stamina. He played more.
I just told you. I just gave Jerry West the edge in stamina. I literally just said.
Again, so to bring up the argument of stamina, there would have to be, like Jordan would have had to been like Luka or something these past couple of years, where like people are questioning in the fourth quarter if he still got the gas or something. I don't think I've ever seen Jordan gassed, right? Like in terms of like him being in shape and in his prime and when he was dominating. It's almost like, let's say you had to get to a 50 out of 100, right? And once you pass that 50, it didn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you're all the way to 100 or if you're 51. You just need to be able to play that whole game, right? You just need to be able to play that game and or like get through a playoff series, right? Jordan was easily above that 50 minimum requirement, right? And so if Jordan is like at a 55 and Jerry West is at a 75 in terms of their endurance or being in shape, it's irrelevant. Jordan will go toe-to-toe with anyone for 48 minutes, 100%. So will Jerry West. Anything after, they're not running a marathon. Anything after that is pointless. It doesn't matter. I don't need you to be in marathon shape. I just need you to be in 48 minutes of basketball shape.
You know what I'm saying?
Jerry West was in the playoffs.
But in terms of speed, in terms of first step, in terms of vertical ability, but you're talking about things like stamina, huh? I've
No,
seen
but
them both play. I've seen them both play.
You
I've seen
can
them
prove.
both play.
I heard you. I heard you say it the first 3 times. One time was enough.
I have to watch Jerry West a little more in terms of how quick he was with the first step, but there's no doubt Jordan had a bigger vertical, probably was quicker overall, could cover more space. Definitely, considering he's a little bigger too, could guard a bigger variety of people probably.
You can prove stamina. I'll tell you how you prove stamina. One, there's plenty of tape of Jerry West, like Luke Cash said, pickpocketing, going all over the floor.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
stamina.
I gave
When
Jerry
you're
West
scoring,
stamina.
hang on, dude, hang on. When you're scoring on one side of the
What the fuck, dude? These arguments are so weird.
floor, and then you're all over the floor, that's more stamina. Number two, he's a little bit more versatile with different positions than Mike. Mike basically
He's not. He's 6'3", 175. Jordan is 6'6", 180, 190. They are nowhere near comparable in terms of, or at least in the specific instance of you saying Jerry West could play more positions than Jordan. That's just complete bullshit. There's just absolutely no way that's true. Jordan was a much more versatile player than Jerry West. Jerry West was a point guard on offense, nothing more. He could score, yes, but it's not like he was a 2 guard or 3 guard. It's not like he was posting people up. Do you understand? Like, it's, to act as if Jerry West had more versatility than Jordan, I don't see it. There's literally no reasoning for that.
he played shooting guard, sometimes point guard, sometimes small forward.
Well,
West,
Jerry
a lot of times,
West-
a lot of times Jerry West was playing point guard a lot of times. And then three, Jerry
That was
West,
the latter part of his
Jerry West didn't take breaks. Jerry West stayed in the NBA and never retired in his prime to take a break. And number four, in those days how they had less things to help.
And even with those years, Tug, he still wasn't as good as Jordan. So, congrats. He played more time than Jordan and still didn't accomplish as much. That's not the own you think it is.
You know, in those days how they had less time, less things to help themselves get better. I think Jerry West said something like he had some injury that if he had today, he could have stayed longer in the NBA. He went through injuries and still did what he did. When you put those things together,
Exactly, that's what I'm
he
saying.
has more stamina than Michael Jordan.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
No, you weren't saying.
I'm
When you said stamina, you're talking about. I think you're talking about.
Let's not forget how also MJ, I think it was his second year. He was the first year or second, he got hurt. I think he had something with his ankle. It was semi-serious. And he came back before he was supposed to play and dominated. Again, like to act like Jordan didn't play through injuries or what. It's just silly. It's just so silly. It's such a subjective, opinionated thing. And again, the only reason they come to these conclusions on these things is because they just want to dunk on Michael Jordan. That's all it is. Their whole drive for everything is to just dunk on Michael Jordan, trying to prove he's not the best. So they reach so hard and they reach so far.
One or two things, maybe. I don't think you're talking about all that.
That's literally what I just said. Well, you guys never let me get to all of that. I'm
So,
saying,
Aaron, you were saying things, and I don't think you were talking about all that. I don't think you were going to say all that either. You
don't know because you never finished.
No, you were finishing up your point. I was interrupting you. I was listening to you, but
All right, guys, this has been fun. We got another stream coming up in a couple hours. Guys, this has been fun. No one's watching. I got another stream in a couple hours. I got to do my betting picks, take the dog for a walk. So we'll cut it off here.